do you pass up the opportunity to spit blood in Joan Baez's face? Dude, I'm so funny I inverted an epiglottis. Let's round up the faceless and get some pajamas. Dude, I didn't know my head was a bank. That's fucking awesome. I want to eat so many Tootsie Rolls I just shit a tire. I jerked off with this towel so much it might be a surfboard. Mr. Schmidt is an entertainer, not a ghoul.
Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Let me ask you folks a question. When you make food, if you cook some sort of food, if you cook some sort of sustenance, if you have food that you enjoy and you eat part of it, and you want to save the leftovers for another time, do you save those leftovers for a year? Are you that kind of person? And if you are, would you then offer those leftovers you've saved for a year to a guest? Because you're really concerned about someone else joining you in the afterlife with a dual poisoning from frozen food being fucking unthawed? What the fuck, folks? You may have heard that in the background. That's the chortling of a fearful Jesuit who just tried to kill me. And that's not an exaggeration, folks. That's an absolute truth. That's a certainty. Because, I'm here visiting. I'm up at the compound as it is with the monks and the skeletons and people like that, whoever else is in the house. And I'm a guest, so take care of me. That's the bottom line. Make sure that I'm comfortable. Make sure that, because last time I came here, it was a successful trip. As I mentioned before, there was duck gumbo made, homemade duck gumbo. And we went on a sushi excursion. It was totally fun. So in my brain, I'm like, well, this trip is going to be great. We're going to get duck gumbo and sushi excursion. Because that's really, you've now set a baseline for when I come to your visits or come to visit you. You pretty much need to make duck gumbo and take me for sushi every time I come up. Anything else is going to be an incredible disappointment. So literally just now, Not seconds ago, Fearful Jesuit said, hey, I'm not making duck gumbo this trip. Is that going to be a problem for you? And I said, well, actually, I'm disappointed. And he gave me a quizzical look, and I went, I wish I could say I was lying, but I'm absolutely disappointed you're not making duck gumbo. And he said, well, I have duck gumbo in the freezer from the last time you were here. And then I turned on the microphone because I had to share that with you motherfuckers, because are you kidding me? Now, look, it doesn't surprise me, because if you were here, I'm going to be, here's something, everybody says to me, they're like, hey, what's Fearful Jesuit's compound like? If there's monks and all sorts of people, but I will tell you this, I've read a lot about compounds in the past, monk-laden compounds from the past. And if there was one thing the monks always did, because they had to, because otherwise the head monk would come around and whack them in the head with a fucking monk broom or whatever the fuck, monks kept their place clean, pristine. It was their living area. They made sure they lived in a clean place, because again, clean mind, clean body, clean Buddha, clean Jesus, whatever the fuck. He comes down, he's happy. Because again, if you're a monk, you're constantly thinking that the rapture or the enlightenment is going to happen. At any moment, you think that Jesus or whatever the guy you believe in is going to come along and go and knock on the door, and you're going to have to open it up and go, holy fuck, I've been writing my name on a grain of rice for 18 years waiting for this moment. And then sure enough, he shows up. You let him into a sparkling palace. There's bonsai trees. There's statues of Buddha. There's a waterfall. There's a fucking Asian woman having a karate fight with a woman in a Bruce Lee tracksuit in the backyard. It's happening. Well, let me tell you something. The monks in the Bay Area don't care so much about cleanliness. They're not on board with that. They're not taking care of the he mentioned that he had frozen duck gumbo in the freezer. He also has the eggshells from when he made me breakfast last time I was here in the sink, still in the sink. When I walked into the house, I was like, because look, here's the thing. When I come to your house the first time, I'm the talent. And you gussy the place up. You make sure it's beautiful. You make sure it looks good for a guy like me. And then the second time I come along, you're just, well, that's just Mike. You don't care anymore. You just don't fucking care. I'm the goddamn talent, man. I'm here last night. I'm working. I'm sitting at the table talking to him, have a wonderful conversation. Out of nowhere, he just dumps 4 pounds of oregano on the table for the cat to rifle through. Just like we're sitting. I go, what is that? He goes, oh, it's catnip. I got to get the cat high. Why? I literally, I don't know what else, because that's that weird baked 17-year-old blowing smoke in a cat's face. I get all that. This is a man of letters. This is a man who runs a compound filled with monks who are devoted to his every single word. He runs a podcast debunking conspiracy theories. Unfortunately, he will never debunk the conspiracy of why cats get high, because he dumped out a pile of grass clippings and let this fucking cat roll around in it. I'm a foot away. I'm going to get caught in this cat blowback. This cat's going to get high. It's going to look at me, think I'm a giant mouse, scratch my fucking face. Everything's going to go awry. I can't handle that business. I'm the goddamn talent. Wrap me in bubble wrap and put me in a safe place before you get the cat bucket high. Oh my God. I just thought of something. Hold on. How do you not market bubble wrap to people to get their cats high? How do you not? You have to do that immediately. Cats need to, because that would be our cat. Oh, dude, you get a cat high and then you give them bubble wrap. You know what? I take it back. I'm going to say that that's a really good way to drive a cat insane. And I don't mean like as a slang version. I mean legitimately medically insane, committed to a cat house or a house of mental cats or whatever the fuck. Like, because if a cat is all high and then he's stomping on bubble wrap and it won't stop, and then because he never hears that noise normally, man. So that's the key. If you want to drive your hold on, I've changed this. Rather than entertaining them, I'm going to give you a subtle way to drive your cat insane if you ever want to have it committed. If you want to inherit all of your cat's money, here's what I want to do. If your cat is rich and you can't chance killing it, but you want to go ahead and get it declared legally incompetent and you want to have it committed to a cat mental hospital, then what you do is you get it high and you make it walk around on bubble wrap, because that will fry that fucking cat's brain, because the rest of the time he doesn't hear that goddamn noise. You know, that cat's walking around and then all of a sudden he's high and a fucking 21 gun salute goes off. He's going to freak the fuck out. And then you call the fucking white coats. They scoop him up in a goddamn net and throw him in the cat mental hospital. And then you're visiting him and fucking Cat McMurphy and Cat Chief are in there fighting with Cat Nurse Ratchet. It's fucking beautiful. My point is, if I come to your house, throw away the eggshells. All right, that's all I'm asking. That's it. And don't freeze the food that I ate the last time I was here and trot it out for me under the guise of keeping me nourished, because I'm just gonna fucking die. I can't even imagine. You're like that duck. He's like literally he saved the duck gumbo. And look, I understand if you saved it because you want me to come back and sign the container. I totally understand that. Again, I am the talent. I understand that was a milestone in your life, certainly not in mine, because I do this all the time. But you in a compound with monks and everybody else, I guess this has got to be boring as fuck. Like I said, they're counting rice grains, they're polishing gongs. I mean, fuck this joint, right? But instead, I come to town, it's like, ho ho, look out, the big swinging dick's in town. All the monks go hide in the basement, and I sit up here with a fucking high cat. A fucking Tulane bobblehead. All right, so I'm here, and it's exciting to be at the compound. I do enjoy coming here to visit the fearful Jesuit. I don't understand why he's saving food from years ago. But that's fine, I suppose. I flew out here from California, and dudes, fuck, it never ends. It never fucking ends. As you know, we have rebirth. We are trying to change our lives. We're trying to become an adult. We're trying to be a grown man, trying to be a person in this world. And I'm accomplishing it. I was like 95% done with my apartment. And then I went and got stuff like movie posters framed, and I'm getting stuff squared away. I had my cleaning ladies come last week and they polished the fuck out of everything. I sorted through a few more boxes and threw away a few more things. I got rid of stuff. And then I actually, here's what I did, dudes. I had a fucking epiphany. I had already fucking fixed the apartment where I had put all of my luggage and stuff in the front closet. And then I put all these boxes of things like videotapes, shut up, and other things that are hiding in my closet in my bedroom. And then I went, you know what? I have to get my suitcases out a lot more than I have to get my videotapes out. Why don't I go with the big switcheroo here? Why don't I go revolving door? So I did, man. I made the front closet. I took all the stuff out of there that I thought, the suitcases basically, and I put them in the bedroom closet, and then I took all of the boxes out of the bedroom closet and I put them in the front closet, and I'll be in Scotland before ye. That's all I'll say to you. It's fucking beautiful, man. It was gorgeous. And then I got a dresser. Like my buddy Jack was like, hey man, I got a dresser. All right, and Jack's a lovely man, and Pat's like, dude, I'll totally help you get that dresser. So he offered it to me like a month ago. And I'm like, all right, well, I said, dude, I totally want it. And Jack's the guy I got the sleigh bed from after Siegel's bed fucking ate it. So he's like, hey man, I'm actually giving away a bed if you want it. And it's a sleigh bed, so it's got like that curvy toboggan headboard and footboard. Oh, it's beautiful. And now he's like, well, I got a dresser that kind of matches the bed if you're interested. I said, yeah, but that's a month ago. So I'm trying to organize a posse to go over there and grab the fucking thing, and I'm trying to talk to my friends, and I'm trying to task grab it and get a truck and whatever the fuck. I'm gonna have to rent a truck. Who knows? Because Pat's like, dude, it's too heavy for my car and it's too big. It's not gonna fit in. Because Pat's a genius. Pat went over there once on his own. Again, just to surprise me because I'm an incompetent man. And he was just like, hey, man, I'll just bring the dresser over to Mike's house. And he calls me up and he's like, dude, it's fucking heavy. It's like very heavy. I said, all right, man, I can help you. Oh, by the way, I had a big, huge intake of air there. I've been listening because I listen to the show now because, again, I'm a producer. And also when I was editing the Joker chunk for YouTube, I take these big gulps of air. Is that a thing? Should I stop that? I mean, I can't stop it because I will die. I mean, really. But what I mean is does it bother you guys when you hear it? Because, again, you'll hear me talk for basically 90 seconds and then I take a huge intake of breath. And I don't know if that makes everybody go, eh. Because, I'm gaining an appreciation for what Lily did for this show a lot more over the course of the time that I'm winding up having to do it myself. See, there was always an intake of air, and every time I see it, the blue lines go up. It's like the biggest fucking thing on the graph. I have a graph, folks. I have a pie chart of the show. It's very fantastic. You should check it out. The biggest slice of pie is me taking breaths, which is, and honestly, if you took a pie chart of your whole life, if you made a pie graph of your entire life, I got to think breathing's the biggest slice of that pie, right? Sleeping is somewhere in there. Swallowing, because we're always swallowing all the time. What do you think you do? Swallow more or breathe more? You breathe more or swallow more? All right, I just swallowed there, but I'm breathing a lot. I'm going to go breathing. I breathe. If my pie chart is more about breathing, yours could be about swallowing. It depends on who you are as a person. Yeah, but I demand, right now I demand everybody make a pie chart of their lives. I just go ahead. The amount of time there's sleeping, there's fucking swallowing, and there's breathing. And that's it. There's really nothing else. Saving old food and offering it to friends. How about that? Is that a fucking thing on your pie chart? That's going to be I hope that's the tiniest fucking sliver there is. What if it was the biggest sliver in fucking Jesuit's pie? Oh my, what if he did that for everybody? He had guests over. He made them like a complex dish. And then a year later, he offered them the same fucking, the leftovers. Because he's also kind of a haughty guy. Does that make sense? He's haughty. He's very, he's got the same voice. If you listen to the show, he's got that spooky ooh voice. Well, he's got that in real life too. So then when you wind up talking to him, you're kind of, because people will tell me when they hear me that I have like a radio voice, but he's just got that voice that sounds like you're in the night gallery, that kind of fucking thing where like he's telling you one thing and the next thing he's going to do is look at this haunted painting, like that kind of bullshit. So that's who he is as a dude. So we wind up talking but so then when he offers me year-old duck gumbo, it sounds ominous. Of course it does. It just sounds like something that I don't want to delve myself into. But what if he does that with all the people? He has them over. Like he'll have a guest over and he'll make some like recipe where it's like fucking egg foo young. And then they come back a year later and he's like, well, I'm glad you've arrived back at the compound. And then he just fucking whips out the egg foo young and the people are like, I thought we finished this. And he's like, no, I always set aside some from my initial preparation to offer for you a year later. I don't know why he's the Count from fucking Sesame Street, but he does have that, but yeah, his voice is, it's hypnotic. It's, that kind of thing. He's got that fucking, like people tell me sometimes I sound like I have a radio voice, but then also I talk like a fucking Chicago idiot. Like he's posh. And then he's got like the posh voice to go with it. He sounds like a fucking count, which is fucking, that's just creepy as shit. And I don't mean, I said he was the Count from Sesame Street. I mean a real Count. He's not fucking, counting chocolate sundaes and falling downstairs and laughing. He's just like counting. So he's like, well, he's not really, he doesn't count anything. He's a count. He sounds like a count, like the Count of Monte Cristo. By the way, he actually made me a Monte Cristo last time I was here. He's got half of it in the fucking freezer right now. Hey man, you want me to bust out this fucking sandwich that you enjoy? I've got some jelly from years past. Oh, that's what I want. You know what I want? Aged jelly. That sounds great. So I'm here, folks. And so I get offered this dresser by Jack and Pat's like, I'll go get it for you. And then Pat's like, I can't carry the fucking thing. So a month goes by. It just turned out I went to Canada. All these different things interfered. And then finally last week, it turned out Jack was in town because he had been out of town too. He was in Vegas. So we were all there. It had dovetailed nicely. Stars were aligned. Come pick up the dresser before poker because I played poker last Thursday. As you know, I finished recording the show on Thursday before my poker game. So I went to pick up this dresser, and in line with what I just told you about how Jesuits got eggshells in the sink. All right, look, this is a man who's taken me into his house. He's paid for my Uber a couple of times. He's bought me dinner. He's making a dinner tomorrow that I'm sure I can't wait to eat in 2020. It's going to be fantastic. But, and so of course, but I tease people about their things and their houses and their cat rolling around in a pile of fucking dope. But I hope certainly I'm let's look at this already. I'm apologizing halfway through the show. Halfway through the show. How great would that be if this was halfway through the show? But look, I accept your hospitality and I'm sure glad to be here, but at the same time, it would be nice to have a clean glass. That's all, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Now, yes, their clean cups don't make a face at me, but what I'm saying is like that's who I am as a guy. It's weird. Like I can't just, I got up this morning to take a shower. There was cat food in the shower. What the fuck is that, man? Are you fucking kidding me? And look, I understand things happen. Something fell down and then you had to rush off to work. But then and again, here's the thing. It speaks to how comfortable he is with me in his house to where he's willing to have a disaster area and not care that I'm here. He's like, oh, Mike's our pal. He doesn't care that everything's fucking ruined. And truthfully, that's, I guess, okay. That's kind of right. But also there's that little guy inside me who's just like, could you I don't know, hire somebody to sweep up the cat food and get it out of the sink? Could you do that possibly? And it's dry cat food, because here's the thing. I was going to, all right, I have to sleep in the basement here. The room's in the basement. That's totally fine. It's a nice room. But the bathroom downstairs, as I've talked about on the last show, there's a bathroom with a shower, but it's a fucking, you know what? It's a Lord of the Flies shower. It's not good. It's just this fucking Wild West, no curtain, no fucking anything. It just goes all over the whole fucking room. You know, I've been in hotels like that where they've got just a shower head in the bathroom. You're just like, yeah, man, make your own rules. Fuck you, hippie shower. I don't want to do that. I want to stand in a box with fucking surrounded by curtains or glass, and I want to get clean. I want to suds the fuck up, and I want to make sure droplets are captured, and I'm not making a big fucking mess, because I can make a big fucking mess. Flailing my arms, I'm 6'2", though already I'm too tall for the fucking shower head, whatever. But also, this room, there's no, like I said, no boundaries, man. There's no fucking curtain or glass. You just stand under the shower head, and it goes all over the bathroom like a busted fucking hose. But also, the ceiling is, the clearance on it has to be 6'3", because I'm 6'2", and my hair's touching the ceiling. Like, I mean, I'm like right on it. And so then I have to like crazily bend over to wash my fucking hair. And look, I do that in the hotel showers when I'm on the road. I'll be in a hotel and it's like fucking a 5-foot shower head, so I got to crouch down and bend and do a fucking downward facing dog to get my hair clean. But unfortunately, I can move to the side in a hotel shower. I can like step away. And there's, the ceiling isn't right down on top of me. It's not like I'm not showering in the trash room in Star Wars. You know what I mean? Where I'm just getting fucking crushed. So down there, if I get in the room with the Wild West shower, I mean, I can walk wherever the fuck I want, but I can't raise my hands up to wash my hair because they'll punch the fucking ceiling. So then I gotta get into a catcher's crouch, call for a fastball, and scrub my fucking hair. I mean, that's just fucking awful, dude. Nobody wants to do that. So that's downstairs. So he's like, oh, well, dude, there's a shower upstairs you can totally use. Yes, but you didn't tell me it was a fucking petting zoo. I had no fucking clue. Because I slept downstairs yesterday, came upstairs to take the shower, and I mean, let's put it this way. It looked like at some point, Fearful Jesuit had decided in the evening that I was a cat, and he was going to set a trail of cat food to try to capture me in a small room and murder me. Because it went from, he has a music room where he's got all of his fucking band stuff set up. Yeah, like him and the monks are jamming when I'm not here. That's fucking fantastic. I love that idea. He's just got his huge fucking robe. The monks are playing their fucking timpani, and he's just fucking rolling with it. But he's got a guitar. He's buying a fucking synth. And by the way, if you ever heard anything about a synth, talk to Fearful Jesuit, because he'll tell you for like 45 minutes about what kind of synth he's going to buy. I'm going to buy a synth with a laptop interface, and I'm going to play thousands of instruments. And I could not honestly care less about any of this with any of that. But of course I care. I mean, we're all friends. I want to hear about your synth. Please talk about it here. You know what? I got a little surprise for you. Turn the microphone over to Fearful Jesuit. He's going to lull you to sleep with 45 minutes of synth talk. So I come upstairs because, again, I got to take the shower. So I have to have a plan. I'm like, well, I can brush my teeth downstairs, because usually at my house, here's how. Get ready for another description of me in the shower. I brush my teeth in the shower. Fuck, it's easier. You know, I throw some toothpaste on the toothbrush, jam it in my mouth. I get in the shower. I wash my hair, brush my teeth, and then fucking we're off to the races. Body, fucking conditioner, hair, face, whatever. But here, it's a fucking split level. It's a decision. It's a thing I'm downstairs. What do I do down there? I'm not taking a Wild West shower. It's not happening. I'm not taking a no boundary shower. I'm not taking a bad touch shower, as I'll call it. But I can brush my teeth down there. But also because also here's another thing too. I brush my teeth in my shower, and then I have a towel that I put my toothbrush on. I lay it on the towel because I don't want. It's just done its job, so it needs to rest. I'm not going to what am I going to do? Just fucking whip it across the goddamn room? My toothbrush, he was in battle. He took care of some business. He scrubbed some bicuspids. He fucking made some molars shiny. And now I lean out of the shower and I lay him down on a towel so he gently can go to sleep, because he's done. He's done until that night when I got to borrow him again. But here there's no toothbrush towel. Like I mentioned, there's a rat. I mean, like lurking. There's all sorts of stuff all over the ground. I don't, and that's the thing, is I can't chance tossing the toothbrush to the towel over, like, because I had it on another shelf, because then if it slides off and hits the floor here, I mean, I have to burn it, right? I have to burn it from space. There's just no other way. I have to torch everything from fucking space. Me and Ripley and Michael Bean just have to fucking blast the fuck out of my toothbrush, because if it touches the floor in this joint, not happening. Because again, the floor is full of cat food. So I had to make a decision. Do I brush my teeth downstairs? Do I brush my teeth upstairs? And so, but this is before I knew about the cat food. So I said, you know what? There's a sink up there. I'll brush my teeth upstairs. I came upstairs, and then there was cat food all over the ground, all and in the sink, and look, I know what you're thinking, canned cat food. Ugh, what kind of an animal do you think he is? No, it was dry cat food. But if I would have brushed my teeth in there, because then I have to make that fucking choice. I could brush my teeth in there, but then you get a mushy cat food thing in the drain, and it's going to fuck everything up. And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, Mike, you could probably just clean the cat food out of the sink. Probably. But also, I'm new here, man. Maybe this is like a game he plays with the cat where like the cat doesn't like to eat out of a bowl. So he just throws a fucking Jackson Pollock of cat food all over the goddamn room, and then the cat finishes it up by the time he gets home and it's clean. I get no fucking idea. I don't want to fuck with his cat games. It could be like a cat Olympics. Could be a cat challenge. Maybe this cat is like Joey Chestnut and he eats as much cat food as he can all day long like in a fucking eating contest. I got no clue. Joey Catnut. Joey Chest Cat. But also, let's be truly honest. I don't want to touch this cat food. I don't want to put anything in the sink. I don't want to scoop it up just in case, because if it got wet, then it's going to be nasty. And just the smell. It's the smell. Cats, pets. It's so funny. You've never met a guy who wants a dog more intensely in his life who doesn't want any smells or bad things from the dog. Like I may get that dog, but I may keep him in a bubble. Like I may just put him in like one of those, like that. I'm going to call Wayne Coyne. I'm going to get that flaming lips ball, and I'm just going to put my dog in that, and he can roll all the fucking way around my house, because I don't want any hair or spit from that guy. But at the same time, I want all the love. I want all the love you can give me, dog. But please keep your hair and your spit to yourself. So this might be a game he has with his cat, and I don't want to fuck that up. I don't know what his relationship is. And again, or you know what? Maybe it's his way of if he thought the house was too clean, he wanted to penalize the monks, and he wanted to throw cat food all over, just as a way to see if they would take the initiative and clean up the cat food, or if they wouldn't because Master didn't tell them to clean it up. And like me, they thought it should just lay on the ground for the cat. Because you know what? If he comes home and there's cat food all over the place, well, let the beatings commence. That's what I say. These monks are going to get fucking pounded. Maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe it's a Kobayashi Maru of cat food for these fucking monks. I don't know how it works. The point is, I don't want to touch it. Because I don't want to squish it. I don't want to, it's just, me. We came home last night. I'll just tell you this. We came home last night and he's like, we were supposed to eat last night, and then he was like, fuck you, Mike, you're not getting anything to eat. And so I said, okay, great. And then we came home and then he's like, hey, do you want a pita bread with butter? And I was just like, I don't know, gold in my ear. Do you have pita bread with butter? What the fuck, really? And he's like, yeah, if you want pita bread. I said, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, that sounds good to you. And he's like, yeah. Then he pulled out like a starter dough. He pulled out an actual dough. And by the way, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to tell you this fucking story. Well, I'll tell you it. Well, all right. So first of all, he's 9 drinks in. Like we went out last night and he's drunk. He's like, he can barely stand up. And he's like, you want me to make you some bread? I'm like, wait a minute. Are you a drunk baker? But then he pulled out this pita dough. He's like, I make pita dough and I keep it in the house. And for all I know, he may have made this a year ago for another guest. I got no fucking clue how he handles his life. But he's like, if you're hungry, I can make you a pita with butter. And I was like, all right, I guess. And he pulls out dough and then he just throws flour all over the countertop and he just starts squishing out the dough with a rolling pin and shit. And then he cooked it in a cast iron skillet and brought it over to me with like jelly and butter. And look, was it fucking incredible? Yes. Was it amazingly delicious? Yes. Was it exactly what I wanted in that moment? Of course it was, because it just tasted happy. Like it was just like, because I was a little, I was bummed because we were supposed to go to this taco joint. And I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But he just like, fuck, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the point is he made me this food and it was great. But then the point on top of that point is when I came upstairs today to take a shower, there's fucking flour all over the floor and all over the countertop and just fucking, and like half a butter container on its back. And I felt bad because I made him do that, but also he's drunk. He can't clean the kitchen. But then I'm like, has he been drunk for months? Because this kitchen looks like a bomb hit it. I don't know. Fuck. He's staring at me right now and I'm very disappointed because he's disappointed. Now he's going to kick me out of here because I'm supposed to be here for one extra day. I'm supposed to be here tomorrow. And I don't know if it's going to, well, tomorrow or today. You're getting this Thursday. I'm recording this Wednesday. So fuck. Dresser. I was supposed to get a dresser at my house. So fucking, I'm talking to Jack, and they finally get it set up last Thursday to go get it before poker. And again, so again, this gets to me talking about him with him very nicely hosting me in the house. But then I'm like, could you, I'm like fucking, Alice in the Brady Bunch doing the white glove test, or military cousin Emma, or whatever the fuck, when she walked through and she's like looking for streaks and shit. I mean, why? I shouldn't care about that, because I really truthfully don't. But you all know me, and you all know there's a little guy inside me who's just like, what the fuck, man? He's not real. I mean, he just shows up occasionally, but also at the same time, yeah, should I be carried everywhere on a barge by muscled men, Cleopatra style? Of course I should. Should people cut my meat for me and feed me? Yes, they should. Should they tuck napkins into my under my chin and wipe my face and then fucking blow me and put me to bed? Of course they should. Everywhere I go, that should happen, because I am the talent, for fuck's sake. But at the same time, I'm friends with Jesuit. We're just pals, as close as you can be to a specter. I consider him a friend, even though he can disappear in a puff of smoke at any moment. Even though we go out into the neighborhood and he's turning over every single rock looking for a conspiracy and interviewing passerby, trying to figure out who was responsible for the Kennedy assassination. I'm like, look, this is a bus stop. I don't know why you're talking to these guys. I got to think they wouldn't, if on the off chance they were involved in the Kennedy assassination, they wouldn't be in this country any longer. And if they were in this country, they wouldn't be waiting for a bus, because they know you're on the case. Word is out, man. So I, what the fuck, dresser. So I'm going to get a dresser. So the dresser, it's a very nice gesture. It's really amazing that he's going to give me this dresser. But we get to Jack's house, and Jack's not there. So Pat and I go in the backyard, and the dresser's in the yard. Like, it's outside. And it's been outside the entire time, because they've renovated their whole house. So they were going to get rid of it, and they put the word out if anybody wanted it. And then like a week later, I heard about it and said I'd take it. So it's been outside for a month, maybe 5 weeks. And we walk in the backyard, and there's two giant blue tarps just slung over it. And I looked at Pat, I go, oh man, I don't know if I want this thing. And he goes, you haven't even fucking seen it yet. I'm like, I know, but it's outside. It's in the wild. There could be a fox living in it. I mean, I have no idea what's happening with this dresser. He's like, well, look, he goes, you don't have to take this. If you don't want it, say so. I go, well, I need a dresser, and I want a dresser. But I mean, it's full of spiders. And he goes, it's not full of spiders. And I go, even if it's not full of spiders, if there's one spider, you know what? Maybe if there's one pregnant spider in that dresser, you saw that Star Trek. If there's one pregnant earwig in this dresser, I'm finished. I'm just dead, man. She's fertile, female. I'm dead. So we take the tarps off, and then it's beautiful. It matches, like I said, it matches my headboard. It's not scratched up, but it's like missing a leg. So it's got 3 legs, and then it's perched up on top of 2 2x4s. And I'm like, I don't want this fucking hobo dresser. Are you kidding me? And Pat goes, seriously, if you don't want it, we can take off. And I go, I don't know. He goes, look, Mike, he goes, I can take the other legs off. He goes, that's even better, because then it'll sit flat in your room. It's perfect. I said, yeah, but what if it might be filled with rot. And he's like, why would it be filled with rot? They've had it in their house forever. I go, yeah, but for a month. A lot can happen if you're outside for a month. If you were homeless for a month, what would you look like? And he laughed, thankfully. And then he's just like, I don't fucking know, dude. If you don't want it, we can leave. And I'm like, I don't know, I guess. And then there was a cobweb on it, which freaked me out because I thought it was a spider. And and look, you get what you pay for. All right. And I'm paying nothing for my friend's dresser. And if he stores it in the goddamn yard amidst the elements, then that's on me. And if I want to buy a new dresser, I'll buy a new fucking dresser. But this was really nice. It's got I think 7 or 8 drawers, along with 2 doors that open with shelves. So like I was like, I haven't had a dresser. I mean, since I was a kid, maybe. When I was even with Karen, when we lived together in Naperville, we had a big closet. So all my stuff was on the floor. Jeans. I mean, I hung all my shirts up, but jeans, socks, whatever, boxer briefs, everything was in neat piles, but in piles or on shelves. I never had a dresser. And then when we moved to California, I never got one because I just, in the closet again, I put everything on the ground. And so it was just nothing I ever really concerned myself with. But the more, as I said, I've gotten older, and it would be nice to have some semblance of order. It would be nice to have somewhere to put my things. But do I really want something that's filled with praying mantises to come into my goddamn house? I mean, they're going to eat my socks. It's going to be fucking terrible. I'm going to fucking throw some boxer briefs on, and some of those roly-poly bugs are going to climb into my ass. I mean, dude, I can't have that happen. So I tried to temper it. I'm like, all right, this is going to be fine. I'm suppose this will be fine. Let's hope it'll be fine. And Pat, we tip it over, and then, I take the drawers out. I start putting them in my, and, one of the drawers did have like a bug in it, and I had to dump him out. And then, of course, that sent me panicking where I'm like, well, what if there's more bugs and they're hiding? But I mean, it's a dresser. It's not like there's a lot of fucking corners you can go around. It wasn't a haunted dresser. It was just a dresser. So, but I carried the drawers, and then Pat took off the legs, and then Jack showed up, and he was real cool. And I'll tell you this too, we had to carry this fucking dresser from his backyard out to my car, or to Pat's car, and put it on the roof. Well, when we took all the drawers out, it made it lighter, of course, infinitely lighter, or not infinitely. That seems weird. Infinitely lighter would be, it was a balloon. We floated it to my goddamn house. It was just lighter. So Jack goes, hey, you know what, guys, I have moving straps. And Pat did not know what those were, but I knew what they were because I worked as a mover for like half a summer once. And I ever tell that story on here? I'll get into that story. It was just, I can't. All right, so it was nothing. It's just people suck when you move their stuff. There you go. That's the end of all my moving stories. But I wound up, he brings the straps out, and what they do is you like run your arms through them, they hook around your elbow, and then you wrap your wrists around, and you can, it's magic. You can lift anything in the fucking world. Because at first I thought he was getting the straps out and he wanted me, because I've done this before, where you strap something and you carry it on your own back. So like you're just using it to hold it to your back and you're controlling it while you're walking. But then I realized, fucking Jack's there and Pat's there. If they want to help, they can help. So he gives Pat a strap. We both did that, and we lift it up, and Pat just looks at me with this face like, I'm buying these. I said, yeah, now I want to buy them. I totally forgot about this. And I mean, I'm not even moving it. I want to buy them. I just want to have them handy in case something happens. But we walked out, we put the dresser up on his fucking, his car. We drove it up, and so now I have a dresser. And so the house is, like I said, about 98% done. I went Monday of this week, and I had a couple of movie posters framed. I had a photograph framed. I've got that stuff to take care of, and I've just got to figure out where to hang it, and then get the TV squared away with the wires, and then my apartment was done. I mean, so I would even say I'm 98.5% done. And after I sorted through, once I did the fucking closet switcheroo, and I pulled everything out of the front closet, and I went and put it in the fucking side closet and in the bedroom closet, and I felt like an adult. I felt very accomplished, like, because I went, hey, I figured this out, so where I can just, because in the front closet there's a lot of stuff. So the suitcases were on the bottom, and they were underneath 4 quilts that I have that I'm not using because it's still warm, and also I have. Don't judge me. I've probably got 100 rolls of Charmin toilet paper that I bought or was gifted because Maki, who our friend Maki, when I spend Maki Mondays with her every month or so, every other month, her husband works for a company. I can't say the name, but they get supplies in great quantity. And she goes, hey, you're taking this home. And she had it was like 40 rolls of Charmin. Or 50 or something. I'm like, what? And also, like 20 rolls of Bounty toilet paper towels. And I don't know who the fuck uses paper towels. What kind of rich person are you that you could have a separate paper product for your kitchen? I mean, I don't know who that is. Yeah, you're rich. You get a compounder for fuck's sake. But I'm just like a single man in an apartment. I don't need a goddamn paper towel. You know what? And but also, I'll be honest with you. I got cloth towels to take care of that business, man. That's how I handle my business. Yeah, well, you said if you have a fancy dinner, you bring out that's another thing. Last night I'm eating, and I go, hey, can I have all right, he's gonna fucking kill me for this, but he's like, hey man, you want a napkin or something? I'm like, yeah, have you got one? He goes, hold on, and he goes, he brings me out a cloth towel. I said, are you sure you want me to use this? He goes, oh man, it's for company, it's for the fancy people. Whenever, because it's one thing I learned from my family is I use the cloth towels if we have a fancy meal. And I said, oh well, that's great. And then I bit the pita bread with the jelly and stuff, and I went to wipe my face. And what they didn't tell him is that you're supposed to wash the towels after every meal because it was. Look, here's the thing. You're a single dude. All right. I don't expect you to fucking, because I'm half gay. I mean, I'm half a lady. So this kind of shit it's just kind of ingrained in me. And I use everything that I use Downy. I use fucking all this stuff. And I'm finding that whenever I stay at a person's house who's just a single guy, Ken in Toronto, and just tell the monks, you don't even have to handle this shit. You're not the one doing the fucking laundry. Have the monks do it. But everybody that I stay at their place, it was a single man. They've never heard of fabric softener. They don't know what it is. They don't mind using the same dish towel or bath towel for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like you go in to dry your hands, and because I washed my hands, and he pointed at a towel, And it looked like the towel was in one of those rings that hangs there. No, the towel was just hovering in place because it was bent. It was just so, it was so grimy. It was trying to escape by climbing up the wall, and I grabbed it. It's just because men don't think like that. And I recognize that. Men just don't think, well, we got to do all the laundry, so we got to do all these napkins, we got to do all these tablecloths, we got to do, dude, I Downy the fuck out of everything. And I mean, my shirts, I over Downy. I have the Downy balls. And they're these round globes, and they have a line that says "fill to here." I fill it like 3 times that, and my stuff comes out. It just smells like a floral banquet. It's just fantastic because that's how I like to handle my business. I like my towels to smell like that. I like me to smell like that. And every time I go to a single, I was at Ken's house there, and look, it doesn't help that I'm like super smeller. I know that doesn't help, but when you dry your face with a towel that smells like sour cream, it just hits you in the face. You just know, you're just like, oh, this is, because it might be clean. Like they might think it's clean because they ran it through, like they don't use enough detergent. Because I mean, I use like fucking 2 pods. I mean, I just over clean the fuck out of everything. And you know what? Real men don't care. And I get that. They're all like from the old West and they're eating rabbits in a fire and pouring beans on themselves. And good for you. That's fine. I can't live like that. I'm the school marm. You guys go be cowboys and do whatever the fuck. I'm the school marm with the fucking clothesline who's going to clean everything properly and then let it dry in the sun, because I can tell when something hasn't been washed or it's not clean. And also then I take a shower here today. I go into the fucking shower. Like I mentioned, I had to come upstairs, and I wasn't in the fucking hippie shower downstairs. I was in this shower, and I wasn't in the no boundary shower, the ungame shower downstairs. But up here, there's a shower curtain, and I brought my towel in there, and I turn, dudes, I don't know why are all of my fans, why do they have soft water? Why does every one of my fans have soft water in their house and make me want to jerk off when I stay with them? Because I've mentioned, because that's all, soft water is an aphrodisiac. It just is. Because you're soaping up, you got soft water, you're touching your body, you're like, this doesn't even feel like me. I kind of feel like a lady. And then you're just like, I'm going to run off a bat. It's going to be fucking amazing. But you can't, because you're in somebody else's house. And I mean, also, I'm surrounded by monks. They see me violating my oath of onanism or whatever the fuck I have to take when I come into their threshold. And they're going to be like, dude, because I'll tell you what, if the monks see me jerk off, they're going to be like, holy God, we can do that? And then it's a fuck fest. Like all of these monks just start fucking jerking off, and you thought cat food all over the floor was a mess. Holy Jesus. Try negotiating from the upstairs to the downstairs through pools of monk jism. No, thank you. I got no interest in swimming through a river of fucking monk jizz just to climb downstairs. Jesus Christ. Yeah, because you know what I would have to do? Just imagine me. I get out of the shower up here and the monks are just going off, and I got to put the towel around my face, and I got to like fucking grab my shampoo and stuff, and I got to just crawl through it like the pipe, like fucking, like Tim Robbins in Shawshank. I got to smash the fucking thing. It's like, I just get to the fucking end, and I climb down, and I just look up to the sky. I fucking extend my hands out, and Morgan Freeman is just like, oh, Mike Schmidt had to crawl through a pool of monk jizz just to get downstairs and get dressed. He came out clean on the other side. Fuck that. So soft water, man. It's just a thing. Like it's like, because again, it turns your skin into lady skin, and you got to touch all of it to clean it off, and then you're just like, this is awesome. And then, like I said, you're fucking throwing a rod in the shower, and you're like, I got to do something about this, but then you can't because it's not your shower. So soft water, again, can't have soft water in Toronto. I mentioned that, and there's soft water here, but nobody. That's the weirdest thing. They all have water softeners. Nobody buys fabric softener. You know what? Fuck it. If you're gonna go with all the softeners, get all the softeners. God damn it! Don't just fucking buttonhole yourself into one softener. Because then I take a shower, I'm like a lady, I'm got a heart on, I'm like, oh, this is exciting. And then I'm like, I got to restrain myself. And that's okay, because then when I turn off the shower and I grab my towel and I put it on my face and it just smells like Roquefort dressing, and my heart on goes away immediately. Heart on? I got to take some water. Jesus Christ. Whoa, you drink water at the same time, and they probably heard the ice rattling at the same thing. So my apartment, 98% done. Smells good. The carpet is beautiful. The paint, everything's great. And so Thursday I put the dresser in, and then I was all excited. I'm like, I made a list. I actually made a list of things. Monday I was going to go and I had to get the framed paintings, and then I was going to auction do the closet switcheroo. And then there was a group of shelves where I keep all of my fucking shampoo and, the deodorant, all that shit. It's like these shelves that I have where it's toiletries, but then also there's the linen, whatever the fuck, you don't care what I have. Here's how my closet layout works. I'm going to sketch it and put it online. But I was going to clean all that out and throw away all. By the way, remember I told you I bought a feather duster? I finally cleaned out this one thing. There were 5 feather dusters. They were just all the way toward the back of the fucking cabinet. But they were fucking filthy, dude, because they haven't. Look, I haven't used them since since Karen bailed since 2013. Which just makes me sad, actually. You know, when I said, you know how I think things are alive. So then when I open that cabinet, and every day I open that cabinet because I got to get my deodorant out of there or whatever, fucking aftershave. And, but the shelf right above where all my toiletries are, that's where all the cleaning supplies lived. And I would use the glass cleaner because it was in front. There was this toilet stuff I would use, this Clorox bleach stuff. I would use that. And there was Febreze, which I would use. But then everything beyond that was a goddamn mystery zone. Like I had no idea. And I just think of the hope that all of those feather dusters had whenever I would open that cabinet like fucking 4 times a day. I would open it up to get whatever the fuck out of it. And they would just be like, is now the time, Papa? And no, then I would close the door and they would just sit there and rot. And there was shit in there. Like there were tea candles. Like I found all sorts of stuff. Like my ex, man, she would collect all sorts of banana shit. There was a fucking, although this is pretty cool. You know what I found? This is so cool. I found scary light bulbs. They're like stained glass window light bulbs, but it's Halloween, man. So I was like, fuck this. I immediately went out and put one into the light outside my apartment. I'm hoping Lou, the racist bartender, doesn't say anything because I want to have a spooky corner to my building. But I found 2 of those spooky ones. I found a spooky purple one. I found a bunch of other light bulbs. I put those on another shelf. But then there was something that looked like it might have been made of plastic at one point, or it was a balloon, like it's latex, but now you can crumble it, like it was flaking. Oh, it was a mess. I just started but I did get use out of one of those old feather dusters because I used that to dust off that whole shelf before I threw it cruelly into the trash. I gave it one more task before I tossed it, but I made sure all the feather dusters were together. I lumped them together and I put them in the same bag so they were all friends as they went off to the dump or whatever the fuck. Because that's got to be that's a shock to the system for them. They've been living in that cabinet for 4 fucking years. I've never done anything. And all of a sudden I start pulling things out and they're just like, oh my God, finally, we're going to get used. But they just get thrown directly into the trash and they're like, no. So I had to make sure they stayed together so they could go through that themselves. It's like, in Auschwitz. I mean, you couldn't break up families. You got to put them all on the same train. Now look, granted, they're not going anywhere good. I say the same thing for my feather dusters, and I will absolutely compare my feather dusters in the garbage to the plight of the prisoners of Auschwitz. Why not? Why not do that? As we're all together, we're all friends. You know what I'm trying to do here. I think this is an apt analogy. You think they had feather dusters at Auschwitz? You guys were on cleanup day. Like, did they have, like, they probably didn't. They probably didn't just have like a chore list on the fridge that those guys got to look at every day. It's like, all right, you guys get the bathroom today. You got to vacuum. And I should probably stop joking about this. All right. So, even the monks cringed at that one as they sit silently in a row and stare at me. So my apartment almost done. I clean it out. I get all that squared away. I get the pictures. I haven't hung them yet. That's the last thing on the agenda. But then, I noticed something over the weekend. I drove a ton over the weekend. And when I drive, I take 6 liters of water with me. I throw them in my cooler and I book. Well, Friday I got 6 liters of water out. Everything was fine. Saturday I got the liters of water out and I was like, these don't seem very cold. This seems strange. And I should also mention this. On Thursday, after I posted the show, my refrigerator made a noise akin to a German Shepherd being shot. It was just kind of this high pitched, but it was a mournful, let's put it this way. Like the German Shepherd had been shot by a small pellet gun. All right. He wasn't shot by a bullet because then he's just like, he explodes and he's like, he freaks out. But actually, all right. So he wasn't shot. It was more like what's that fable where the lion gets a thorn in his paw and then he's all sad and then a mouse pulls it out or whatever the fuck and then he bites him. I don't even know. I think that's the end. But he's it's like Androcles and the lion, right? Isn't that it? It's Androcles and the lion, and then the lion's got a fucking thing in his paw, and everybody's trying to figure out different ways to do it. And then the one dude just shows up and goes, "Why don't you just bang?" And he pulls it out, and then the lion is like, "You're the best," and they become friends forever. That's 2 alternate endings I've given to the same thing. One of them he bites a mouse, the other one he's friends with a guy. I'd pick which one you like, or you could bite the guy and be friends with the mouse. Whatever you guys want to do. Hey, look, fucking take this up with Aesop, all right? I didn't write the fucking thing. So sure enough. My fridge just it sounded like a dog had stepped in a thorn patch or something because it was just kind of like and it kept going. And I waited and I look, you've heard the fridge on the show before because I've had the fridge going or whatever, and I've often said, I'm like, well, you guys can hear the fridge in the background or the ceiling fan or whatever. But so I'm attuned to the noises my fridge makes. And also, I've owned this fridge for 21 years. So I'm well acquainted with what it does and when. And it made that noise. And I was like, ooh. I even on Thursday night went, that's not a noise I've heard before. And I was like, well, I think we're okay. And everything was fine Friday. And then Saturday, like I said, this water doesn't seem so cold. Well, that's it's still cold, and that's fine. And then Sunday, I went in, and the water the water really wasn't cold. It was like, it was cold, but again, not ice cold, because I was able to pull it out. So then I looked at the dials and I was like, all right, what's going on here? Because I also had my cleaning ladies in on Thursday, and I thought maybe they bumped the dials and turned the fridge all the way down. But no, the fridge was all the way up to 7 and the freezer was only on 4. But then I went into the freezer and I had ice that was still ice, but then I had my packets of acai for my smoothies, and those were squishy, like they were almost liquid. And then I had saved these old bananas to use in fucking smoothies, and those were almost liquidated too. And I'm like, oh, dude, what the fuck? And then by Monday, forget it. The whole fucking thing was a collapse. So now, I got to buy a refrigerator. I got to buy a fridge. I'm a cash-only operation. Do you know how much a fucking refrigerator costs? And then the worst part is, like, Pat's like, dude, I'm sorry about that. And he starts sending me like cheap fridges from Best Buy. And I mean, look, I had just felt good about where I was. I was making some money. I was stockpiling some cash. I just sent the IRS fucking $700. I was like, all right, we send them that chunk. And then I was going to send another chunk on Monday to another guy. And not another guy, another organization, probably the IRS. It seems weird that I would just I'd hide that to another guy. I'm very shady dealings. I got to send a guy $700. The point is, I was going to make payments, and I was excited because, again, my apartment was done. And I could now start really in earnest paying off some stuff, and the fridge eats it. And again, like I said, I've had this fridge for 21 years. I've had it since the day I moved in California, or not even the day, the week, because we had to go find one, and then we had it delivered and fucking installed. And so I'm very lucky. I mean, I don't think anybody gets 21 years out of fucking anything. I mean, Christ, my marriage lasted 20. So fuck. I mean, that fridge, I had a longer relationship with that fridge than I did with my wife. But both just as cold. It's a lie. Because actually with kids, they both worked in reverse. For 20 years, Karen and I were warm, and then it got cold for the last fucking few days, and then flip it around. That's how your fridge works. Hey, cold for 20, warm. However, in both cases, there was squishiness up top. I don't know what that meant at all. It just seemed weird. So sure enough, I got to buy a fucking fridge, dudes. I got to buy a fucking fridge. And then I text fearful, and I'm like, dude, I mean, I don't even know if I can come, man. Because I'm coming here for fucking 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, coming home Friday. So 3 days. But in that 3 days, I could drive and probably make the price of the fridge. And I have, look, I stockpiled a little cash, but it was going to go it's earmarked for other stuff, man. So buying a fucking fridge it was a non-starter. But at the same time, you got to buy a fridge. Like, I got rid of cable. All right, I haven't had TV since fucking July, and I'm starting to go, well, you know what? Maybe I don't even get new cable. Maybe I don't have to sign up for anything because I can watch all my sports on fucking line, and that's fine. I miss Food Network, but I mean, so fucking what? Everybody misses fucking Food Network, and I'll get Netflix eventually. When I get all my TV squared away, I can get that. If I get Netflix and sports, I should be okay. So you can make that conscious decision, but you can't go, well, I don't know, maybe I'll just keep buying bags of ice and putting them in the sink. I mean, you can't fucking do that, because I'm also planning on buying food and vegetables and cooking for myself. I want to live like a goddamn adult. And it's really hard to live like an adult without a fucking major appliance. So I have to get a fridge. But then, like I said, you feel on top of it. I'm feeling like, yeah, you know what? I'm doing good. I'm making great progress. These things are fine. And then a fridge, you go look at the prices of fridges. Holy fuck, man. Like, I went to Best Buy. Well, first I went to Amazon and Best Buy. We're about the same, but like fridges were $1,500, like $1,800. And I'm like, dude, I can't swing that. I can't, like, that would be a thing. I'd have to, like, if a friend of mine bought it on a credit card and then I paid them back, that kind of bullshit. It's just, I'm a cash only operation. It just doesn't work. So I looked at the prices and so then, like I said, Pat is like, dude, you can go to Best Buy. They'll actually deliver you a fridge and pick up your old fridge and recycle it. Like, it's an instant thing. And I said, really? Then he starts sending me pictures of fridges, and they're like $200 fridges, like $250 fridges. And I can't. I know it's just about keeping shit cold right now, but just putting that level of cheapness in my house. Because again, if you buy a $250 fridge, you're going to be buying the $1,500 fridge or whatever the fuck in a month, because the $200 fridge, that's not going to fucking work. And it's not going to keep everything cold. And I certainly, it's not going to be able to let me put my fucking chore list for all the people from Auschwitz on there so they can check what they got to do. There's no room on the door for that, man. And that's what this was. It's an Auschwitz fridge. I mean, it just looks all gray and striped. It seems weird. It wasn't striped, but it was bad. But but he's sending me these pictures. And also there's something about, and look, I recognize Pat knows my situation. You guys too. Everybody does. But there's something to when your friend immediately starts sending you bottom of the barrel choices that hurts you deep. It hurts you fucking deep because he knows, hey, you poor son of a bitch, here's these shitty fridges you could possibly afford. Oh man, what a wound, god damn it. But I know what he meant. He was trying to help and good for him. And then my trainer, John, just wrote me a couple days ago and he's like, hey, because John is now, he's not only my trainer, but now he's managing a building. And he goes, hey, we just had somebody move out and they left a fridge. It's not great, but it's free. And I literally wrote him and I'm like, I go, honestly, I think I'm going to buy a fridge. I said, and then part of me in my brain go, dude, we'll just, if it's free, get a fucking a standby fridge. Just do that. And so I wrote, and then I had to write him back again. I go, but I'm interested. You know, if you take a look at it and tell me what you think, I'll be in town in a couple of days. And just even having to do that is just so fucking grim. Just having to even think about, because then also, I mean, I don't know these people. It's bad enough I'm using Jack's dresser. He could have hidden there and jerked off. I don't know what these fucking people kept in their fridge. What if it's Dahmer's fridge? I don't want Dahmer's fridge in my fucking house. Just fucking heads and old duck gumbo in the freezer. Fuck all that, man. That's going to be terrible. I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse. Heads of Vietnamese guys or old duck gumbo from a fucking year and a half. By the way, you know who owned that fridge? Old duck gumbo. Oh, I'll tell you that fella. He's not a guy I trust. I don't trust him. He's good to think of me, but I'll tell you what, you don't want to get it. Nobody wants an appliance from Old Duck Gumbo. He's got to own an appliance. Look, listen to me. If you live in the South and you don't open an appliance store right now called Old Duck Gumbos, I'm going to be furious at you for the rest of our lives. Who do I know? We know people in Florida. We got listeners down there. Jack Maxwell, you still listen to this show? Fucking, I was going to say his daughter's name. That's fucking rude. She's young. She doesn't want her name said on here. All right, Jack. Yeah, you have to open up Old Duck Gumbos. That's your fucking your homework for the next goddamn month, week. I don't know. It's weird. I'm drinking water with ice. Hear it? And I never do that. I usually just drink straight water. And then I'm recording and I get these little pellets of fucking ice in my mouth and then you hear them. I'm worried about mouth noises and then you got me crunching ice in your fucking ear like a guy who's trying not to stay horny. I mean, what the fuck? Or a guy trying to lose weight. That was a way, because I was telling somebody about that because they were like, how do you, someone was like, I have an oral fixation. I'm like, you should chew ice because that's what worked for me. Because I totally have an oral fixation. Let's talk about that. Like you don't even know that. I'm fucking all mouth. I've talked about it every goddamn show. So now I got to buy a fucking fridge. And then I was going to postpone Jesuit and he wrote me, and he's very nice. Cause again, this dude, I'm sitting here, I'm 4 feet from the guy telling him his house is a fucking sty. I mean, he hasn't punched me yet, so we're okay. He knows I'm kidding and that's fine. But at the same time, he, I reached out to him and I always think, you know me, I think everyone's going to be mad at me. I think people are going to be upset at me. They're going to be angry at me. They're furious at me. Like, I'm in a position. I know it sounds silly and foolish, but it's what runs through my head. And look, if I think about it for 10 seconds, I realize that's not the case. But at the same time, I invited myself up here, essentially, because there was a sale at Southwest and I wrote Fearless and I go, hey, Fearful. And I said, hey man, what if there was, you around in October? Like I could come up for a couple of days. I invited myself. Clearly I invited myself. And he had told me before, if you got a clear calendar, contact me, but it doesn't matter. That's still bad to me that I would call up and say, hey, I'm coming to your house and staying there. And then when I'm there, you better have it clean. And it's been pretty all of my specifications. What a fucking idiot. I am a terrible guy. I am a fucking, people out of the goodness of their heart invite me into their place. And then I'm just like, hey, wouldn't this look better over here? And wouldn't you maybe want to buy a fucking Swiffer? And everybody's like, I'm glad I invited you up here, you fucking dickbag. It's just not it's whatever. I'm not, and now he's going to cook for me in that kitchen tomorrow. I can't even imagine the ptomaine I'm going to get. All right. He's making ramen. He's making homemade ramen. So again, like I said, I look forward to having that in baseball season 2020 when I come up here for a Giants game. I'll eat it tomorrow. And get this. He holds up a bag when I walk in the door. He goes, what's this? You know what this is? And I'm like, I got no clue. And he goes, yeah, this is, these are hard-boiled eggs that I'm brining in a teriyaki sauce. This is for dinner in 3 days. And I'm just like, it just looks like a bag of shit. I don't, why are you showing me? I don't want to know that you're brining eggs. That just those phrases shouldn't be together. It's like whenever you go to a bar, when I was, when Jill and I were together, I'd be going to fucking bars in Wisconsin and they had pickled eggs in the jar. And I was just like, oh, like if someone served me a pickled egg on a nice plate and chopped it up or whatever, I would definitely try it. I might even eat it. But if you show me a barrel of pickled eggs, that's fucking disgusting. That sounds like the worst Halloween I've ever heard of in my life. And so when I walk in, and he's got a baggie with eggs and black liquid. He's like, oh, this is going to be dinner in a couple of days. I'm like, wow, I wonder if I can change my flight, because that sounds atrocious. Because when I have ramen, like when I go to the ramen joints, I don't get the egg. Like, I mean, I always get ramen with fucking, I get extra noodles. Here's how I handle my business, folks. When I go, you want to know how I order soup? Of course you do. I get ramen, and I get a side of extra noodles, and I get the fuck's the word? Not influenced, fucking infused. Yeah, but there's the way they call it, it's something different. When you get the pork fat in the broth.
Tonkatsu ramen.
Yeah, but there's a phrase for it when you can fortified. There you go. Or yeah, when you fortify the broth with the pork fat. I mean, that's just, dude, forget it. Oh, goddamn, is that great? I will tell you, you taste it, it's delicious and all that. And but you know what? I'll tell you what, brined eggs in a black liquid. That's what my bath towel smelled like today when I got out of the shower. Holy fuck! I think he's brining them in my bath towel. That could be it. So I came up. I wrote him and I said I was going to come up here, and he even wrote, like, he was very nice, but he also goes, hey, look, I don't know if 3 days is going to change your entire financial future, which is spoken like a guy who owns a house. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? It's like I'm literally walking along the edge of a razor blade every moment, where I mean I'm everything's fine, and then my fridge goes out, and then I live on the street with me. I'm sleeping over at Old Duck Gumbo's. You know what I mean? It's just fucking terrible. So that's the thing. It's I'm still a coin flip, even though I'm really happy with the way things are going, and my apartment is great. I've got cool stuff and everything, but you're all just a bad fucking month away. You're all a bad month away from a tent on cement. I mean, I drive around, like we drove home last night. I'll get to what we did in a second, but we're in the fucking Uber last night, and Fearful is in a very in-depth conversation with a woman driving the car who would not, to this day, has not breathed. I to the point where, like, she's talking and Fearful texts me and he's like, she's just not going to stop talking at all, is she? And I just texted back, not for 1 second. Like I told you, I pick people up, I give them rides, and I'm a nice guy, and I'll give them the speech in the beginning about the funny thing is how people squash that, because they think that means I'm talkative. I'm not fucking talkative. I'm just telling you, if you want the air on, that's great. If you want to change the music, that's fine. And then I'm going to shut the fuck up unless you want to talk. But I can't tell you how many times people get in the car and I go, hey, how you doing? I have the heat on. If you want the air on or the windows open or whatever, and they go, no, I'm fine. I go, okay, and the music, and it's fine. Like they just shut me down immediately, and I'm just like, great. I didn't want to fucking talk to you. You couldn't be less interesting to me. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. But then you get into the car last night, and this woman literally, she was Peter Falk in Princess Bride. She just opens a fucking storybook and just goes off. She's like, well, the couple was torn asunder, and we're just going a mile. What the fuck are you doing? And he's like, you can't take that bridge. She's like, oh, okay. She almost backed up on the freeway. She was going onto the freeway, and then she's like, oh, no, wait, I got to go over here. And he's like, you can't take that. You can't take it. It's closed. And so then she almost backed up, and what a mess. What a fucking mess. People are awful. We've been in like 12 Ubers here. I'll tell you about them in a second. Oh fuck. You know what? I'll tell you about the Uber I took, because I flew up here. I finally decided I was going to fly up. And he was very nice. Like he said, 3 days isn't going to change your financial future. And I just went, that's literally exactly what happened this week. Not kidding. My apartment was fine, and then my fridge made a noise on Thursday night. And then by Monday morning, I knew I needed a new fridge. So guess what? My financial future changed in 3 fucking days. Literally the thing you said wouldn't happen. So, because again, he's got a fantastic job. He's got a hit podcast. He's got a giant house. He's got a loving family. So it's just a different, and again, I'm not saying he's insensitive to it, because he was young too. He just doesn't realize that I'm living the life he lived in college, and I'm still living it now as I chase a fucking dream, or whatever the fuck I'm doing these days. But I mean, it happens sometimes with my friends, even, you know what I mean? Because they have houses, or they have safety nets in place. Like my friend asked me about my IRA once. I was just like, I'm just one man. I can't have an army. And he's just like, what? And I go, dude, I would have more chance of assembling an Irish Republic army for myself than having an IRA in the bank. I got no fucking shot. And it's because their lives are different. They're like, I have my buddy Dennis. He goes to fucking Italy for a month a year and rides his bike and sees his family, and that's fantastic. But you know why he can do that? Because he broke his fucking ass his entire life to be able to do that. I'm sitting here tiptoeing through cat food to take a free shower. So I mean, I don't know what the fuck. I can't compare myself to these guys. I'm anticipating coming home to Freon death. I don't know what's going on in my apartment right now. I left it plugged in. I left it sitting there. It could have exploded. I keep checking the news to see if somehow there was some fucking explosion from a gas leak or a Freon leak in my fucking apartment complex, because I just left it there. I was like, all right, well, hopefully maybe it'll fix itself while I'm gone. Maybe, because again, what are the fucking gnomes who came in and fixed the shoes for the guy? Maybe they moved them to major appliances now. Maybe they come in and fucking help me out. They fucking tiptoe up if they can get through all the cat food in your joint, and then they fucking go ahead and they fix my goddamn fridge. Maybe that'll happen. I hope so. It's like remember the old days when you could punch a TV and it worked? Oh, that was fucking awesome. I should just fucking work over my fridge like a heavy bag. You fuck, and just start elbowing the shit out of it, and eventually be like, all right, man, stuff's cold again. Back the fuck off. Knock some sense into you fucking Maytag fuck. All right, so idiot. So I came. I flew here. I took a flight, and it was, I flew out of Burbank, so it was super easy. That was another thing too. So if I was flying out of LAX, I probably would have thought even longer and harder about making this trip. But flying out of Burbank, man, it's a fucking it's 6 miles from my house. I flew, I got there, checked in, everything was fine. I slept an hour on the plane. I got here, and I flew into Oakland this time. He lives in the Bay Area, but it's nebulous. Like, it's close to San Francisco, but it's also close to Oakland. But it was cheaper for me to fly into Oakland. See, I'm trying not to tell them where the compound is. I hope you don't mind. All right, but it's lurking. It's around here somewhere. Just look for the bald guy and all the people wearing Nikes. It's fantastic. Just follow the trail of cat food and Kool-Aid, and you'll totally find the compound. Oh, cat food and Kool-Aid. That's got to be there you go. All right, so I flew into Oakland, and dude, that's a badass airport. It's like really nice, but it's also small. It's not like Burbank. It's Oakland's the Burbank of San Francisco. That's what I'm going to say. Except for the fact it's rampant with crime. and as we drove last night, we drove. I looked out the window because, again, Fearful and this woman were having a very meaningful conversation about jazz. Think about that. Think about I wouldn't talk jazz if John Coltrane got in my car. We're not having that discussion ever. I don't give a fuck if the ghost of Miles Davis showed up. Yeah, I got nothing for you, Miles. You want to talk about heroin? I'd rather talk about that. Let's talk about heroin rather than eighth notes and you with a fucking shiny ass horn. Let's talk about that haircut, whatever the fuck. God damn. But this woman wanted to talk about jazz and her CD and the best part is Fearful is he's just a nice person. So and maybe that's the thing is I for a guy who never lived in New York, I got a fuck ton of New York in me, man, because I'm just like, hey lady, shut up. Shut the fuck up. You and your jazzy CD and your orange in the fucking console that you can eat later as a snack. I mean, nobody fucking cares about you and your life and your 20 grandkids and whatever the fuck else is going on. And she was lovely. This is my problem. She was a nice woman. But I mean, we had just come out of a fucking show and my ears are kind of ringing, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I had just discovered a band that I think I really like. And we wind up in the car and it's 41 minutes of talking about parking placement. Well, I didn't even see your light, and then this app, and we got to form a union, and we got to do. Oh my, she's one of those people too. That's the thing. It's like whenever Uber's a side hustle. Don't ever look at it anything more than its surface. It's literally the skin on the gravy. The gravy's all underneath, whatever the fuck. But Uber's just the top. That's the skin, man. Job would be the gravy. You want to dive into that? Go get one. But otherwise, you're just eating the skin off the top, man. Don't fucking pretend that you're going to unionize or Uber needs to do something different. Because I'll tell you what, I had an epiphany. We're taking a bunch of Ubers here this weekend. I drive for the company. All right, and I told you, I don't think of it as a job. I mean, it's just a way for me to make money and do whatever I can to stay afloat. And it's just out there. And I bitch and I talk about guys throwing up on me and people throwing up in my fucking car and having sex and coke. And I've fought people. I mean, all sorts of, it's invited a lot of chaos into my life that I don't need. But at the same fucking time, it's a fucking lifesaver. The fact that I can get out of my house anytime I want and go make $150 if I stay in the car, that's fucking incredible. Like, I mean, I hear people, like I'm on this comedy website at Facebook. It has a comedy page, and these people offer like kind of piecemeal gigs. I told you I got a gig off there where I worked security for a Halloween movie marathon 2 years ago, and I made $100 for the night. And all I did was literally I sat there, I fucking ate goldfish crackers and watched scary movies with a room full of hipsters who were worried a homeless man might wander in at some point and ask for a quarter. Like that was the extent of it. We were in the back of the Meltdown, and I just policed the door. If anybody came in, they didn't know, I'd say, hey, who are you? And I'd chase them the fuck out. It was just, I was muscle because they didn't want to deal with it. They were all in their jammies, not even joking, jammies and fucking sleeping bags. It was a 24-hour movie marathon, and I went there for the final 12 hours and fucking hung out, watched Candyman, watched fucking all these scary movies, and so that was a gig I got off that Facebook thing. It's just these piecemeal things. Like anybody with a truck want to help me move a mattress, or anybody from an improv group want to join my game show and talk about why you and your girlfriend didn't get along, all this bullshit, whatever the fuck. So I see these people getting offered gig. Today there was a gig offered, and it was an immersive talent needed for a live performance, whatever like those fucking escape rooms and shit like that. They're always looking for people to be hosts. So this woman is like, all right, there's rehearsal on the 26th, rehearsal on the 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then there's shows on the 29th, 30th, 31st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And the shows are from 7 to midnight. $300 for the run. That's less than $7 an hour. If you do the 2 4-hour rehearsals, you do the 6 5-hour, that's 35 hours at $300. It's like $9 an hour. It's less than minimum wage. And people, these actors are like, I'm in, I can do it. And I see that and I think, man, I can make more than that in a night. And I last Saturday I made, I was out there and combined the fact that I hustled and drove, I made a bonus and someone threw up in my car. I was able to make $400 on last Saturday night. It was great. Part of it was fucking gruesome and terrible and awful, and I learned about what Ozium is, so I was able to go ahead and grab that. But I made money. So when I think about Uber too, when I think about the fact that someone came along, I just because again we've taken like 6 Ubers while I've been in town, and a different driver every time. We had a shitty fucking driver tonight. A guy was bad. The woman last night who wouldn't shut up. We had the first day we had this guy who didn't understand English very well. I think he was Latino. To the point where I said something about 99. I said the number 99. I'll explain why in a second. And the guy immediately, he turned the radio up. And I made a joke. I go, this guy's tired of us fucking talking. Like he doesn't want to hear my voice anymore. But he turned the station over to 99.1 because he thought that we were demanding a new radio station. He was just this older man who was gentle and wanted to help us. And so but in seeing him and seeing this woman who wouldn't shut up last night, and then this guy today, and you think about the fact that Uber came along and it was, again, Travis Kalanick, whoever the fuck, it was a bunch of douche bros and they were in their fucking dorm room, just like the Facebook idiots, just like those guys. And someone went, hey, what if we made the entire world our taxi service? That's all they did. They didn't settle. They could have said, what if we got a bunch of like 3 cars in San Francisco and we just started charging to drive people around or whatever the fuck. They could have done that. But they thought globally, and now they're a worldwide fucking company. And it's a pyramid scheme. They've taken a pyramid scheme public to where they keep the general public is their labor, and they've convinced the general public to hire other friends to compete with themselves. I mean, it's insane. They tell me to refer drivers. So I refer those 3 drivers, and then they all take those rides from me. It makes my job harder, yet I'm going to get a spiff for it. So I'm like, yay, I'm the Uber pimp. But then you guys wind up driving, and if you're in my town, that's 30 rides I didn't get. And it's brilliant. It's like Machiavellian almost in its supervillain thinking. What if we made all of the rabble do our work and we just sat in a room and came up with an app? And it worked. It fucking worked. And they're global and they're billionaires. It's insane. It's funny. One of the things that Uber, they always say is like, respect the hustle. I respect the hustle of the driver. The driver's out there. He's hustling. He's making money. Hey, I respect the hustle of 4 idiots who came up with an idea to make the entire world their fucking employee. And it worked. I've said this before, like small-minded people bitch. And so I hate when I bitch. I mean, I don't mind bitching about unclean houses and shit like that. But I mean, what I mean is like when I'm bitching, if I bitch about my job, if you heard me bitching about Uber in a way where I was like, well, this stupid thing and these fucking people and da-da-da. Hey man, I bitch about circumstances that occur while I'm doing Uber, but it doesn't mean that I hate doing Uber. I consider it, like I said, last week I made $1,200. If I don't make that, I'm not buying a fucking fridge when I get home. I mean, it's just like I broke my ass. I worked fucking hard the last 2 weeks to make a big number. Who's that fucking Mario? A bigger number. Fucking all of a sudden I turned Italian on you. But at the same fucking time, I respect the fact that these guys came up with this idea. And I can, like right now, literally, I'm in California. I could walk outside and drive people around. I could take Fearful's car and drive people around. I could, if fucking Fearful owned a goddamn car. Apparently monks just fly. He has a broom. He just fucking flies. He has no fucking car. And he Ubers. Dude, he Ubers to work. Like today he came home and he's like, hey man, I think we might take the bus. And I looked at him and I just went, all right. And he goes, wow, I thought you'd be a little more upset about that. And I go, I fucking hate it. But what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm a guest in your house. What am I going to say? Fuck you. I'm not taking the bus. That's ridiculous. I'm staying in your house for free. So, I mean, if you said, hey, I've got a burro outside, let's saddle the fuck up. Well, guess what? It's me and you and the burro and Sister Sarah, and we're taking a ride to fucking town. Dude, so I can't bitch. I mean, but what I'm saying is like, driver's bitch. Like this woman last night, she's just like, this app, I tell you what, they tell me to go the wrong way all the time, and they're making me go this way, and and we're in the car last night. It's a pool ride, and it tells her to go a certain way. She's like, I don't know why it's making me go this way, and Fearful just goes, I think you're picking somebody else up, and she goes, oh, you know what? I wondered why it did that earlier. It looked like it was making me do that, and then I just didn't take that turn, and so I guess I didn't pick that person up, and they canceled. And I'm like, and it's so funny. I had to put it in the framework of I do this gig. The phone's right in front of me. I see when it changes the screen. I see when it tells me to pick someone up. Like, rarely I'll go, why are we going here? Oh, okay. And I'll just immediately remember why. She was genuinely puzzled because as she spoke to us about her 41-year-old grandson and his 8 great-grandchildren. And by the way, she's given us numbers like fucking, she's got 4 kids. They're in their 40s. She's got grandkids that are graduating high school. She looked younger than me. I don't know. This woman... And granted, she was in, she had a Jabba thing going on. She's kind of a big, heavy woman. So as we've talked about, fat people look like infants. So maybe that's what it was, kind of, combined with the black don't crack type of thing. But I mean, I was astonished when she started dropping these numbers on us. She's like, yeah, I've got a 45-year-old grandson. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second, Hattie McDaniel. Jesus, fuck. Are you kidding me? And again, like I said, lovely woman, terrific, but also we got to get a union, and this app is always wrong, and it makes us go the wrong way. And I'm like, you just told us you purposely didn't take a turn because the app told you to, and you realized that you were going to pick up another person. So don't tell me that the app screwed you up. But boy, she wouldn't stop talking. So the whole point of this fucking thing is we're driving. I'm in the back seat, and he's talking with her. I look out my right hand window, and there's I see like a camper, like a Winnebago. And we get those in LA. Like, there's streets in Venice that'll have like 4 or 5 of them parked there. People live in them, and so I saw that and I was like, oh, that's just one, but it was in a fenced in lot. And then I saw a couple more Winnebagos and I was like, oh, maybe that's a Winnebago fucking sales place, but those look like old Winnebagos. And then as we kept driving, I realized this was like a fucking homeless people prison camp. Because there were tents and there were people walking around with flashlights and they had an open fire. They were cooking. They were all like Winnebagos and campers and tents, and it was a tent city. Like, I mean, we have tent cities in LA, but nothing within a fenced enclave where you have to gain entry. I mean, the homeless have basically just overrun Los Angeles in certain areas. Like I said, on Venice, they just set up tents. At night, they set up tents on Melrose Boulevard in a fucking doorway of a business. I mean, it's getting terrible. But seeing this last night, I'm like, oh, fuck, maybe it's cool that the city maybe provided the space for all of them so they're safe and they can all stay in their little enclave. But at the same time, I looked and it was fucking crazy depressing. It was, because I'm used to seeing them spread out. I'll see 2 tents, 3 tents until you get to downtown LA. And then, like I said, it's Calcutta. But this fucking thing, there had to be fucking 20 Winnebagos and a bunch of tents. Like I said, an open fire. They're cooking and shit. I'm just like, man, what a fucking mess. And so then, of course, then I come to you and I talk about driving and making money and trying to bitch because I can't have a refrigerator. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys are just fucking rolling in grime all goddamn night. These guys have a fucking asphalt bed and I'm bitching about a fridge. So it puts things in perspective. But at the same time, get a fucking job, fellas. All right? That seems aggressive. Because there's ladies there too. Get a fucking job, ladies. That's right. I say it to all of you fucking people. So I get to town, and I'm in Oakland at the airport. I walk across, and I called an Uber for a ride from Oakland. And I got Raffaello. And Raffaello seems like a wonderful man, whatever. He's coming to pick me up. And the thing about the Oakland airport is they have a designated space where you can be picked up. It's like Burbank. But unlike Burbank is just kind of a Wild West show because everybody's just standing there. But in Oakland, it says there's 2A through E, 2F through K, 2L through P, whatever. You can stand in certain areas and the driver knows you're there. So it makes it easier for everybody. You can stay in your designated area, and that's where you get picked up. So I'm standing there. I'm at the very end. I'm in like fucking W through Z or whatever. And he'll be there in 5 minutes. He'll be there in 7 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever the fuck. He'll be there in 6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. On. I will never pass up the opportunity to do that for you. He will, however, never pass up the opportunity to fast forward it. I guarantee that. That's fine. Excuse me, Dougie Fresh. Yes. So I'm waiting there for Raffaello to show up, and I got his license plate. I know what kind of car he's driving, and then sure enough, I see him tool up. He drives up, and again, I'm at 2W through Z. I'm at the very end. And there's nobody else. There's like 4 other people there. They're not in W through Z. There's a couple in the E, whatever the fuck. There's only 5 of us waiting. He pulls up and he goes to the second section, which is like E through H. And he parks. And I stand up and I hold my phone out and I wave at him. And he's looking right at me. He sees me. And he doesn't move. And I'm staring down at him like, and look, I've told you this. When I'm driving, there's nothing worse than a passenger who's like 4 feet away and won't get in the car. I've had it happen. Someone will literally be, I'll be at like 716 Alameda and they'll be at 714 Alameda and they'll walk down and they'll wave the phone at me. And I'm like, you motherfucker, you can't walk 8 steps. Fine. And then you pull up and you get them. Well, I mean, I'm probably 60 feet from this guy. You know, that's what I'm going to say. I'm not even, I'm like 30 yards from the guy, I got to say. Well, do the alphabet. He's at E and I'm at Z. I mean, fuck, that's how far away I am. I'm easily 21 letters away from this guy. And he just fucking, he won't move. So I kind of wave at him and he doesn't move. And I know he's looking at me. And like I said, normally I'll pull up sometimes if I check my phone or whatever, but I'm always keeping an eye out for the person. And so I saw he wasn't going to move. And I you know what I did? I just went Old West on this fucking guy. That's all I did. I just was like, I grabbed my laptop bag. I moved in the slowest of John Wayne motion. Like, you never see that when they imitate John Wayne's walk, like that bow-legged gait where he kind of walks back and forth. I was doing that if he was doing it now. If somehow his reanimated corpse came to life, I was a zombie John Wayne because I moved with all of the urgency of one of the Walking Dead zombies getting away. I mean, it was like, because they don't fucking care. Unless they smell brains, they don't hustle. So there were no brains in the midst, certainly not in Raffaello. So I fucking grabbed my bag, I throw it over my shoulder, and I grabbed my wheel bag, and I literally just like, I sashayed. You know that's what I did? I sashayed down to where he was. I wasn't even, it was kind of a strut along with the sachet. I might have thrown the plie in there. I have no fucking idea, but it was just like, man, fuck you, dude. Really? So I walked. It was the living embodiment of an exhale and an eye roll. That's what I did. That was the way I walked. Just like, okay, we're doing this now, whatever the fuck. And I just one step, and he looked at me and he saw me approaching. And then right when I got to the car, then he gets out of the car. And well, actually, I went around to the trunk, and the trunk wasn't even open. I mean, it took me 14 minutes to walk from Z to E, motherfucker. Pop the trunk. And then I go back, and the trunk's not open. And then he gets out of the car, and I go, dude, I got my bags. There's 2 of them. Just pop the trunk. And he's like, oh, okay, sir, okay. And so I guess I don't know if it was that he didn't care. He was just fucking stupid. Like, I couldn't figure it out. But then he pops the trunk. I put my bags in there, and I get in the car, and I get my earbuds on, and I rolled with Raffaello. I mean, I still tipped him. You know what I mean? I didn't give him a bad rating or any of that shit. But I mean, but still, what the fuck are you doing, man? You can't leave me hanging. And then that was ominous too, because I'm like, I'm in this town, and it's just all slow motion cocksuckers. What the fuck? Fucking pick me up. I'm here. God damn it. I'm the talent, man. Little did I know that Raffaello's vehicle, the cleanest structure I would be in the entire time I was in town. Literally, there was nothing. It was spotless compared to where I'm at now. I had a dresser full of spiders at my house. I got a fridge ready to explode. I'm in this fucking house with a cat food trail. Literally, and to the point when I saw this cat food and this pile in the sink, I thought maybe, just maybe, his cat was the Richard Dreyfuss of cats and was trying to make a devil's tower so we could go ahead and fucking catch a fucking UFO. Because it was a mess. I'm like, how the fuck is this all over the joint? This fucking cat. But then again, he got him high last night, so who the fuck knows? He might have been so hungry he tore open the fucking bag. I got no clue. Jesus. I apologize. I didn't mean to swallow into the microphone. So then I get to, Fearful's house, and he's not here. And I had only had a couple hours of sleep because I was busy with the closet switcheroo and everything else. So I grabbed a couple hours when he was at work because he has a real fucking life. And then he comes home, and he was very nice, lovely guy. He shows me his eggs. He's like, "Hey, I got a bag full of brine. Here we go." And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, look, I have to tell you something." And I'm like, "Oh man, what does that mean?" And he's just like, "Well, I know if I would have told you this when you were home, it might have influenced your decision. So I waited till you got here to tell you." And I should tell you, I had tried to come here like a month ago. And he was like, "Hey, my buddy's here. He's got the room all summer," or whatever the fuck. Who was that guy?
Well, my parents are here in the summer.
Who fucking cares who they are? Somebody had your room, and I was like, or my room, I should say. And so the monks were molting. There was monk molting season, so I couldn't come by. So then he gets it. He's like, "I got to tell you this," and I'm like, "All right." And he just goes, "So, I have my daughter for the next couple days." And I'm imposing enough. I've invited myself to his fucking house. I'm like, "Am I taking her bed?" He goes, "No, she's got her room upstairs." And I'm like, "Why am I here if your daughter's here?" I go, so you go do daughter stuff. Like, don't even fucking, just ignore me. I'll record the show and whatever." And he's like, "No, dude, fuck, that's why you're here. I want to see you record the show. And we're going to hang out. I got plans. Like I said, I'm making a fucking bag of eggs. That's going to be fantastic. And we're going out to a show." I said, "Okay." I go, "But this is fucking rude." And he goes, "Well, all right, you think that's bad? I'm going to tell you." And I'm like, whoa. No, don't give me any, "You think that's bad." I don't want to, because I think this is bad. He goes, "Well, I know you're going to think it's worse, but I'm telling you right now, it's not a big deal." I said, "What?" He goes, "It's her birthday tomorrow." And I can't imagine, like I told you, when I was a kid, all right, and my mom would bang some guy and then he'd wander out in his fucking tighty whities in the fucking kitchen and look for a beer in the fridge while we were all just sitting there watching the Monkees and going, "Why the fuck is this guy in our house? Oh, good, it's Mike Carnett, prison barber." Another episode of Mike Carnett, prison barber, who fucked my mom. I'm glad he showed up. "Hey, you kids got any bread?" Yeah, we're going to tell you where the fucking bread is, Mike, you fuck. You walk out of here literally with mom stink on you. Just get back in the fucking room. Not excited. So I that's all I think of with this poor girl who's turning 12. She's 12-year-old girl. She's, and also she's going through all sorts of complex emotions. She's going to see a hunk of man like me and not know what to handle and what to do about it. She's going to have a crush on me now for the next fucking 10 years. Once she deals with me, it's going to be so weird for her. And so now I'm like, "Dude, I hope you're going to some birthday party or whatever." He goes, "Well, no, we were going to cook dinner tomorrow. I was going to make the ramen tomorrow, but I think we're probably going to go to a pizza joint." And I'm like, no. Who's this we you keep bringing up? Because I can tell you this, the best present you could ever get your daughter would be not letting me go anywhere with either of you, because she wants to spend her birthday with you, her dad, not with me, you fuck. And he's like, no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. I'm like, look, I feel like enough of an imposition. You know what I mean? I come here and I'm fucking, and like, it's different. Like I've been to Ken's house now twice, and Ken's different because Ken has kids too, but they don't, they're not there when I'm there. And I wasn't like, this is a different trip. The first time I came, it was me and you. We hung out the whole fucking time. We talked and had a great time. And so that's why I was comfortable coming back. But then I come back this time, and like I said, it's like there's a kid, and I got to fucking, and then he's like, because I was going to record the show yesterday, right when I got to town. And then he's like, "Well, I have to work. I won't be home until 5. And I'm like, "Oh man, and he's like, "Well, I could maybe take a half day. I can be home around like 3 or 4. And I'm like, "All right." I go, "But then we got to drop dead time on the artwork by 8 o'clock for Max. I got to get it to him, and he's got to get it, and so then by the time he got home, we had to go to a concert last night. So there's a drop dead time too, also to get out the door and go to the concert. And so then I'm, you know me. This show fucks with my head where I'm like, all right, I got to get it done, but I got to do it here, but I got to put it off, but then I got to make sure it's good, and I got to do all these different things. My fucking brain is spinning. So he's like, well, I said, he goes, well, let's do it now. And it was like, by that time, it was like almost 4:45 or something like that, or 4:45. And I'm like, well, then then with an arbitrary deadline, it's all fucking weird on me. It's like wearing a heavy coat. I know it sounds stupid. And he's like, well, all right, what do you want to do? And he goes, let's do it now. And I go, no, I want to do it tomorrow now. And I talked to Mex, I hammered it out, whatever. We figured out the artwork, and I said, I'll do the show tomorrow, because this concert, I don't want to fit it in this small fucking window before the concert, because who the fuck knows if it's going to be done. And he's like, well, can't you do half of it and then call David? I go, it doesn't work like that. But trust me, I've tried. It's not how it works. I don't create paintings. I don't know how long they fucking take. So I can't just presume to go snap my fingers and the fucking guy's going to bang something out. So we have a working deal, and I've fucked it up the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Where I had to get artwork, I got to be done by a certain time, and I haven't hit the fucking the post on it, and I could do. So yesterday I knew, I was like, well, in this fucking window, because again, to do this fucking show, I need, I got to explore the space, cowbell style, man. I can't fucking just sit. I mean, look, I can open the microphone and talk any fucking time about any fucking topic. I talked to Shannon about that Monday. So I was talking about the deadlines on the show and how I got to work with this and how it's got to be done, how I missed last week's deadline. I got the show out Thursday afternoon because I want to fall asleep because I've been driving so much. And she's like, well, can't you just do it this way? And I'm like, I can't. I mean, really, I wish I could say yes. And maybe a more disciplined, better performer could do that. But right now, I'm not that. I'm not, And so then I've talked to David about it, and he's like, well, dude, when you had to work with Lily, you had to go to her house at a certain time. You had to be done by a certain time. And I'm like, yeah, that's different. He's like, how is it different? I go, I don't fucking know, because there was somebody there who would depend on me. And the Mex is like, and guess who that is now? It's me. So you should probably be done by 8:00 every Tuesday. And I'm like, you're not fucking wrong, dude. He's not. And I've been doing great so far in year 10 and getting it done. But the last 2 weeks, it was so much driving. Because again, it coincides with that. If I don't live life, I don't feel like I can sit down and bring you the best fucking show that I can, even if I can open up the microphone and talk, because people are like, Mike, are you going to talk about the UFC? You're going to talk about the McGregor fight? You're going to talk about these things? And it's like, I'd love to. But I mean, I also got a million other people listening who don't even know what UFC stands for, so they don't want to fucking hear me talk about it. But then I do that whole show about the Bears, and people are like, I don't even like football, and I fucking loved that show. So look, you're dealing with a dude who will consistently talk himself out of doing the right thing because he thinks nobody would like it. You know that about me. I've already gone, look at this fucking tangent I've gone out on. And also, by the way, with me telling you, oh yeah, I don't think I could just open the microphone and talk. Just listen to the last 8 minutes and say, oh, you couldn't just open up the microphone and talk? Just talk about your fucking neuroses and bullshit, and everybody will be like, oh yeah, okay, I get that, because you're a fucking numbskull. I'm gonna breathe. Hold on, I'm gonna breathe for a second. That seemed like a lot of talking. So his kid's here. So I go, so I want to talk. I said, look, I'd rather record tomorrow night. Let's just do that. I've straightened it out with Max and we squared it away. And plus we're going to this concert. And he said, fine. So we'll record Wednesday. He goes, well, yeah, it'll work out perfectly. We'll go out with my daughter and we'll go have a birthday dinner. And I said, I thought you were cooking tomorrow night. He's like, no, it's her birthday, so she should pick. And I go, oh, fuck yeah. I thought she wanted ramen. I thought that's why you were making it. He goes, well, she likes ramen, but what she'd really like to do is go to this pizza place she likes. I said, well, then let's do that. If I'm included, I go, if she doesn't want me there, I totally get. He's like, shut up. She's fine. She'll want you there. She's a good kid. I go, yeah, but it's not. See, that's the thing. People always presume I think it's about the kid. Like it's not. I don't think that's a bad kid. I think it's a kid who's going to have some wondering why some dopey fucking guy from a show came out and visit. It's like with the first times I saw Jill, I met her son. And he had to be going, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why is my, and she's like, no, he listens to your show. Like, he hears it in the car when I play it and stuff. And, at the time I thought that was normal, even though now I know it's not. So I always presume that I'm a burden, which is silly. So, but at the same time, I'm not a 12-year-old. I mean, I was 12, and I remember when I was 12, there was shit I didn't like, and one of them was fucking strangers. So, and then he's like, yeah, I'm going to work till 5, but my daughter will get home in the middle of the afternoon. I'm like, oh, wait, so now I'm alone in the house with your daughter? This has just got fucking late movie written all over it. Like, just I'm going to be like fucking bad was Weird Harold. Who's the guy who hid in the wall? Remember that fucking movie? There was a movie. It was a guy who hid in a wall and he could like spy on people in his fucking mom's house. God damn it. Bad Harold. I think it was called Bad Harold. Google Bad Harold. I think I'm right. I may be conflagrating the plot of Bad Harold with another movie, but there was a movie about a kid who lived in a house and he could like climb through the walls and he would spy on people. And then of course, I'm thinking fucking jerk off. I don't remember. But that was one of those movies that would either air at like midnight or at 3:30 in the afternoon, edited to fucking death, you know? So, but that's the thing. You don't want to unleash a 12-year-old alone in here with me. Because I don't know what the fuck she's going to say. I don't know if she's, and also
TV movie 1974.
Weird Harold or Bad Harold. Yeah. All right. See, I called it. I knew it was a thing.
Perverted teenage boy lives in the walls of a house.
Yeah, baby. You're goddamn right. By the way, did you hear me just yell that? The kid's upstairs sleeping. What the fuck? That's another thing. So that was the whole point I was getting to with all of this. He's like, we can record tomorrow night after the fucking party or whatever the fuck with the birthday. And I said, dude, you want me to do the show with her in the fucking house? And he's like, oh man, my band plays and she hears it all the time. And I go, yeah, your band's not yelling fuck the cocks in the middle of the fucking night. Your band's not screaming about Auschwitz. I mean, Jesus fuck. I don't know what kind of band you got. Maybe they are. But as far as I know, they're probably not. And he's like, dude, it's funny. She sleeps like a fucking neutron bomb. And I go, she's not going to tell you that the scary man yelled fuck and woke her up. It's not going to happen. If she's a polite kid, she's not going to complain about it. She's going to be nice. He's like, don't worry about it. You're way off your heart. But also, I put it to you guys. Like, yeah, I'm nuts. I recognize that. I'm fucking bananas. Why wouldn't a kid want me to have dinner with her and her dad? I understand that. But I'm not wrong about this part. Right now, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I'm shouting fuck to the rafters, and she's upstairs trying to snooze. She got a test tomorrow. She probably got some test tomorrow. She's going to wake up and be like, I got a 70 on my test because your fucking friend kept yelling fuck in the middle of the night and woke me up. I couldn't sleep. Tell Bad Harold to shut the fuck up. God damn it. I've corrupted this kid forever on her 12th birthday. What a mess. So he tells me that his daughter's going to be here and I got to record and shit while she's here. And I said, no, I'm all fucking in my head about that. And I'm kind of detached. I won't lie. Cause like I said, the last trip, and also, all right, here's this part too. I'm the talent. Pay attention to me. Let's do stuff. Let's hang out. But he's like, yeah, man, I'll go to work and I'll come by later and maybe and I'm just like, shouldn't your whole priority be me? Shouldn't you just drop everything and do whatever the fuck I say at all times? Shouldn't you? I mean, I'll tell you what, if you own a fucking car, I don't even have to deal with Raffaello. That fucking shit goes out of the outside. You come over, you fucking pop the trunk, you probably grab my bags, I get inside. You've got a cold beverage waiting for me. That's the fucking way this thing should work. God damn it. You know what? Everybody needs to take a learn from the fucking Chibacabra up in Seattle. My man. I don't want to say his name, but I mean, he was the one who picked me up at the airport with a sign that said Schmidt. That guy fucking had it down. That's my guy, for fuck's sake. He picked me up after the Pearl Jam concert. We went to go out and it was fucking beautiful. It was great to see him. All right. So, I feel stupid saying it, but so then so his daughter's here and right now she's upstairs shivering under a blanket, wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. She's got her phone out. She's looking for gray striped refrigerators, trying to figure out if those exist. Trying to find out. She's probably, in the morning, she's probably going to have a list of shitty fridges for me. Hey, I heard about your plight. Enjoy these shitty fridges, you fuck. I'll be busy growing up and being more successful than you in 4 years. Great. You'll be 16 and always have a fridge that works. I'll be just some fucking homeless guy at the encampment over there with an open fire trying to cook. Fucking, I need Hoove to save me. That's what I need. I mean, I need my man from Seattle, Hoove. That's the Chibacabra. I'm going to say his fucking name. Why not? Chief Hoove, whatever the fuck. All right. So, Paul is his, I feel mean not even saying his name. All right. So the kid's upstairs. So this whole fucking show, I've been barking into a goddamn microphone and she's upstairs tossing and turning. Fucking thought bubble over her head with just me with demon horns like John Candy and fucking trains planes. God damn it. So Raffaello drops me off, and Fearful comes home from his work yesterday, and he's like, "You want to do the show?" And I said, I was like, "Well, we're going to this concert," and this is a band. Look, because when I was going to do this trip, he's like, "Hey man, there's a concert. Would you want to go?" And I said, "Yeah, of course," because I'm all about experiences now. Like I want to go on adventures. I want to see things. I want to do stuff. If you like something, I'm willing to give it a shot. So we were going to go see a concert by a band called Mercury Rev. Now, I've heard the name. I know but I've never heard of a note they've played. I don't know a fucking thing about them. I don't know anything at all. But they were playing an album that is very special to Fearful, and they were playing the album in its entirety. And he told me it's a stripped down show. It's just a couple of guys with guitars, and it's probably going to be an hour. And I said, I'm in, man. Whatever we got going on is great. It was at a place called The Chapel down in San Francisco. So we got ready to leave. We were heading out the door, and he's like, "Well, if you want to go a little," because I also said, "I go, hey, look, are there chairs at this venue?" And he's like, "Why?" Because you know who that was? That's That's the old bad me coming forward. That's the guy looking for a way out. I won't lie. I mean, it's just, it's, like I said, as excited as I was all about experiences and stuff like that. There's still the 70-year-old man inside me who's going, yeah, wouldn't you rather just stay in Fearful's compound and just surf the net or talk or whatever, hang out, go watch a movie downstairs in the coldest basement in America? Wouldn't you rather do that? And, I mean, yes, but at the same time, this was a special show to him, and he invited me. He's like, would you please go to this? I'd really like that. I was like, cool, I would love to. But there's still that little guy. It's like, if I'm a cuckoo clock, there's a bird inside me that goes, stay home, stay home. He's just like, fuck it. So I started to find the weasel ways. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, are there chairs at this venue? And he's like, well, I don't know. We can go early and check. And I was like, all right, well, I just want to know, because I'm way too big. So my back and my knees are a little rough, especially for standing in a venue. It just is. Now, can I power through it? Of course. Can I power through it if it's a band I want to see? Absolutely. Can I power through it if it's somebody I've never heard a note they fucking played? Who the fuck cares? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to, but at the same time, I would do it for Fearful. And I'm his guest, and he's taking me to a show that means something to him. So it's important for me to share that with him. That's fine. But at the same time, that little fucking bird is going, stay home, stay home, stay home. So he goes, why don't we go early and we'll get something to eat down there? There's a taqueria right by there, and then we'll bust into the venue and see if they have chairs early. And if they don't, we can plan accordingly. And I'm like, cool, that's fine. So we go and we get in the Uber, and he chooses Uber Pool for this particular trip. I will tell you this, that's another thing, is fucking Fearful chooses the Uber Pool a lot more times than I'm comfortable with. Now, look, I recognize he's saving $4 a clip, and that's fine. I mean, you've got monks to feed. You got a 12-year-old to buy a birthday present for and a cake and whatever the fuck else. But at the same time, I'm, I don't want people in the car. I barely want the driver in the car. If they could make a Johnny Cab out of Total Recall, pick us up, that'd be fucking fantastic. I'd be thrilled. Just fucking change the whole industry at that point. Just get a fucking Charlie McCarthy looking fucking robot driving me around, and I don't have to have a discussion about the robot's grandkids. So we call this Uber, and this was the guy who the Latino guy who didn't really understand a lot of English. So he picks us up, and he's a nice guy. But another thing too, I'll tell you, like my car is a 2008 Camry, I think it is, and I'm always worried it might be too old. I keep it clean, I keep it nice, it's neat, it runs great, it's a hybrid, it's perfect. But at the same time, I'm like, I see people in these big fucking. I saw a Mercedes Ubering by me the other day, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! I mean, I can't hang with that. But then we drove in these Ubers the last few days. I mean, the car we got into a. What the fuck was that thing that Hispanic guy, that Latino guy was driving? It was, by the way, I keep saying Latino and I want to say Hispanic, but Hispanic's wrong now, right? Yeah, it's just Latino. I apologize. Sorry, I apologize. I didn't mean to say it there. But he had, it was like almost, I think he had a Chevy Cavalier. I mean, it was like that fucking bad. It was that same shape, that same like instrument panel, because I owned one of those, and we were jammed in the back seat. And again, he was a nice guy, and we're talking in the back. But then it's pool, so we pick up some guy named Danny. And I use his real name just on the off chance he's listening to this, which I hope he is. Danny hops in the front seat. And the venue is, we got a ride ahead of us, a bit of a ride. So we're driving, and in the backseat, Fearful's talking. And then I answer him, and I say something. And Danny in the front seat, his head wheels. Like not like slowly I turned. I mean, he turns around as if there was a loud noise behind him. He was startled. And I didn't say anything at first. And then Fearful started talking again because we were talking about microphones. That was what the discussion was. Fearful's asking about microphones and about my microphone and the microphone he uses and the input. And I answered the question, and I said, I just bought a windsock. And this guy wheeled and turned around and looked. And he goes, are you guys talking about radio? And Fearful, and I literally, I would just go, no. But Fearful goes, well, no, we're talking about podcasts. And I'm trying to do his on the mountain voice. I can't do his voice, but we're talking about podcasts. The new medium that's taking the world by storm. And I'm like, wait a minute, you fucking film strip motherfucker. Let this kid ride in the car in peace. What are you doing? Well, I don't want to talk to the driver. I barely want to talk to you. You're going to rope Danny into a three-way with us? Jesus, fuck. So sure enough, I mean, Danny's just like, radio? And he's like, no, I'm talking about podcasts. Have you heard of them, young man? I mean, it's just like, literally I can hear the film strip going, it's so bad. So I just shrink into my fucking seat. And the guy goes, oh, you know what? He goes, I listen to podcasts all day. Like I work in a job that has really loud noises and I listen to podcasts all the time. And Fearful just goes, well, it just so happens my friend and I have podcasts that are available on the iTunes platform. Oh my God, shut up. Shut up, you fucking automated commercial nonsense. What are you doing? And I literally, I go, no, we don't. I just, because I was like, I'm not having this conversation. I'm not going to sell one guy on me in 14 miles. But he goes, really? Oh, what shows do you do? And he's just like, well, I do a show called The Paranoid Strain. He goes, but I was very influenced by my friend here who does one of the best comedy shows in the world. It's my favorite show. It's called The 40-Year-Old Boy. And I go, no, it isn't. And I'm like, literally, and the guy goes, well, yeah, I'm about to subscribe. I go, you don't have to. And he's Googles my name and he goes, are you Mike Schmidt? Is that your name? And I go, it is, yeah. And I go, and then he goes, well, you'll have to Google Mike Schmidt comedy because the ball player takes up a lot of the bandwidth there on the internet. But you'll go, and I'm like, what are you doing? What has happened to you? We were having a nice, polite ride, so I knew there was something why the kid spun his head around. So he starts talking about the podcast that he likes and he listens to, and he listens to thousands. And then Fearful goes, here's my phone. Here are all of the podcasts I listen to. And then he just starts scrolling through 1,000 podcasts. And then my logo's in there and he goes, that's Mike's show right there. And I'm like, oh my God, no, it isn't. Stop. And then the guy goes, oh, but you have your show. And he goes, well, this is my logo here. And the guy goes, yeah, I know. I just subscribed. I actually looked it up. And he goes, but he's Mike Schmidt, but I do my show anonymously. And he says he does a show anonymously. For 15 minutes, he's been promoting The Paranoid Strain about conspiracy theories, and we look everywhere. And we got a QAnon show, and we've got 9/11 shows, and we do this. And by the way, in the 7th show I did, we tackled Alex Jones and his conspiracy theories. I mean, he's reciting his life's work to Danny in the front seat of the pool. And then he mentions, oh, by the way, I do my show anonymously. And Danny looks at the phone and goes, oh, really? Blank, and says Fearful's real name, which is on the phone. And Fearful just goes, oh yeah, well you can't broadcast that because conspiracy theorists are crazy and I don't want them to come looking for me. And Danny goes, I don't know, man. I think I got something pretty valuable. Like Danny starts fucking roasting Fearful. I got something pretty valuable here. By the way, Danny works at a fucking factory of malt or whatever the fuck. I don't know. He drives a bulldozer and crunches barley all day. He wears noise canceling headphones and he works in a brewery, whatever the fuck he does. But now he's got Fearful on a string because he knows his real name. He's like, well, maybe if I went ahead and sold this to conspiracy theorists, perhaps I'd contact Alex Jones. I'm like, this is why you don't talk to people. This is why you don't fucking talk to people. And Fearful's like, well, but the thing is, these people are kooky and they get and so they're having a conversation. I'm slumped in my chair, man. I want nothing to do with it. And then Fearful takes a breath, finally. And there's an opening. So I said to Danny, I just went, you looked startled like 5 minutes ago when you whipped your head around. And he goes, yeah. I go, did you recognize my voice? And he goes, I did, but I didn't know it was you. I said, who'd you think it was? And I said, because I knew you recognized my voice, like right away. And he goes, I thought you were Roman Mars. And from some podcast called 99% Invisible. And I said, I said, clearly I'm not him. I said, because Fearful's just told you who I am. And then so they talk about 99% Invisible, what a good show it is. I said, I'm sorry. I'm not Roman Mars. I said, I'm not on 99% Invisible. I'm not on 99 Problems. I said, you know what? Roman's got 99 problems, but the mic ain't one. And I got no sold by Danny. Like he didn't think it was funny. Could not have laughed less. Even the Hispanic guy turned the radio up just to cover the crickets from that horrible job. Roman's got 99 problems, but a mic ain't one. I was so proud of that. Came out of nowhere. Nothing. Immediately he unsubscribed to my podcast. But Danny was very pleasant and very nice. But I loved the fact that he knows he took Fearful's real name. Like I barely know Fearful's real name, and he took it. And he's like, yeah, well, if anything goes wrong, I'll be able to sell this to the underground. I'm like, oh, Danny, you're great. We're gonna leave your body in a ditch. But then we drove and we dropped him off, which was great. Then we wound up going to the show. We were at the chapel, as I mentioned, in San Francisco, and we went to go to a taqueria first. So we're walking down the street. When I said, hello, I'm Kango from UTFO. She said, so? I said, so, baby, don't you know I can sing, rap, dance in just one show because I'm Kango, Mr. Sophisticated. Far as I know, there's nobody greater from beginning to end and to beginning. I never lose because I know about winning. But if I was to lose, I wouldn't be upset. What if I did the whole song? Roxanne, I want to be your man. Yo, Kango, I don't think you're too dense, but you went about the matter with no experience. You should know. She doesn't need a guy like you. She needs a guy like me with a high IQ. I got to stop or I'll do the whole fucking song. All right, so that's UTFO. Roxanne, go look it up. All right, so we're in a taqueria. How did I meet UTFO in a taqueria? We go walking down the street looking for something. That's why we were walking down the street. And I said, hello, that's what it was. So we find the taqueria. We get in line. And it's a busy joint. And it's the Mission. It's down in the Mission District. So they got the Special Mission burritos, which, as you know, are it's literally like it's like a Los Angeles burrito, but they put a wet mop inside of it somehow. I don't know. And it's just, it tastes delicious. I don't know what they do to this fucking mop, but holy fuck, does it taste good? But at the same time, you can't, it's a two-handed burrito you've got to hold because otherwise it'll just fall ass out all over everywhere because it just soaks the tortilla. It's just, I like a clean bite, man. I like a clean eat. I want to hold a burrito in one hand and just fucking mow through it. The very fact that the thing's got a spigot on it should be your fucking first clue. So we get in line, we're in the Mission. So he's like, you got to have a Mission burrito. I'm like, I've had them, but I don't, they bury it in the fucking, the lettuce tomato. It's just too wet for me. So, but he's like, well, you can tell them what to put on it. And I'm like, yes, I know that, of course. So he and I are having a conversation, not unlike the conversation that Thomas Hayden Church and Paul Giamatti would have in a Sideways. It was just two guys having a fun conversation in line in a taqueria. However, I have a voice that, sounds a lot like Roman Mars. So I'm very recognizable. And Fearful sounds as if Jesus came down. He's literally like this. If you ever wonder what Moses sounded like reading the fucking bullshit commandments, he just listen to Fearful show. That's exactly what and he sounds like it in real life. There's no flange on his voice. Like he's not putting anything on his fucking voice. It's like my friend David Lawrence. Whenever I talk to David, you hear him and you're just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, literally, David Lawrence's voice is the kind of voice where Bill Curtis hears it and goes, oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, and so Fearful's got that kind of mellifluous fucking, it's just a badass voice. One of the ones you wish you had. So we're talking. So we're, other people are like, duh, burritos, duh. And we're having a very erudite conversation about smart things and lovely people. I'm sure we're hitting all the great points, but we're also, our voices our timbres are a little louder than other people. And also it's a loud taqueria. You got fucking 47 dudes hiding in the floor waiting for ice to show up. So they're scurrying about and making noise. You got spoons hitting beans and beans hitting spoons. That's fucking brutal. And then you got every, yuppie in line going, do you have a gluten-free tortilla? Oh my God, kill yourself. Seriously? I really want to have this burrito, but I don't think I want any meat in it. Do you guys have anything without meat? Well, yeah. And it's like K. And then, by the way, they said this KKK 3 times. The guys from ICE, they ran in, and the guys from under the floorboards bailed out. So we're having a conversation about normal, fun, whatever. We're talking because we're like, he's interesting, and I'm trying to keep up. And sure enough, there's a dude in front of us, and I would just call this guy a Mission veteran, just like a fucking bomber jacket, like one of those puffy down-filled jackets. And he just had an angry-looking skull, just bald. And a fucking, just a furrowed brow that I think he was born with. He looked like, you ever see Brainiac, the guy who fights like Superman? All right, like that, but without the swelled part of the head. You know how Brainiac's head looks like a light bulb? All right, this guy just had a normal size fucking head like that with the big deep fucking creases in the brow. Just a mess. And he also you knew he wasn't legit because he also had the hipster black Clark Kent thick glasses on. So, he was trying he was like, he reminded me of my buddy Russ. I have a comedian buddy Russ who I love Russ. He's one of the funniest dudes in the fucking world. He's a cool ass dude. But at the same time, like he has a tattoo of like a sailor with an anchor on his arm and he'll wear those glasses and he's completely bald. And you're just like, there's already a Moby. I mean, literally, you don't need to do this. So this fucking guy in front of us, so he's in front of us and we're having a conversation and we're talking about everything from Mission burritos to burritos in the Mission. And this guy literally, he just keeps looking at us like fucking side eye, like these fucking guys talking and enjoying each other's company. who do these guys think they are? Friends? Like, you can just see him looking at us like with this contempt for happiness, this contempt for extemporaneous speaking, this fucking looking down his nose at people who actually might be enjoying life for a second. I mean, he was just misery incarnate, this fucking guy. You know what? He was misery incarnate asada. That's what he was. So he looks back at us and he looks at us like 15 times. I mean, and I'm seeing it. And look, all right, I'm trying to be a better person. You know that. We all know that. Old me at one point would have looked at him and gone, what the fuck are you doing? What are you looking at? And just, that's the stupid bouncer Chicago fucking, you know, I've told that James Hetfield story a million times. It's one of my favorite stories where he's eating in a diner and a guy in the car outside is staring at him. And he's like, why is this, what the fuck's this guy looking at? He goes, so I'm eating and I'm looking at this fucking guy and he won't stop. He's sitting in the car just staring. He's looking right at me. And I'm like, motherfucker, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? So, you know, finally, I'm not having it. I fucking get up. I walk outside. I go up to the fucking car. I'm like, hey, motherfucker. Guy's asleep. He's not even looking at me. But in my fucking haunted head, I think this guy's staring me down and calling me out. I wasted all my hate on that guy. And I've loved that phrase forever. I wasted my hate on that guy. And look, I got plenty of hate. I don't think I'm ever going to waste it on anybody. But if I was to tell you that I didn't think about grabbing this guy's perfect round skull and smashing it through the glass fucking counter at the taqueria, I'd be lying to you. Because I literally, in my head, I had the fight. He had a backpack on. I'd grab the one strap, put it around his neck, grab the back of his head with my hand and just right into the glass. And hope it didn't break because then I'm going to jail. Although probably smashing his head into the glass would send me to jail. I don't even know why I went to that place. But he just kept looking like with this side-eyed like judgment. And granted, it was me. And it might have been my anxiety over, am I going to be able to sit in a chair? Am I worried about my back going to be hurting? I don't know what it was, but there was something that was built up inside me. Might have been from the discussion in the car. Because I get literally, because here's the thing. I browbeat myself after the car ride. Danny was a nice guy. Danny was genuinely interested in finding out about podcasts, but all I did the entire ride was tell him I was not good enough to listen to. Yeah, you don't want to subscribe. Nah, don't. Dude, don't even Google me. It's not even a thing. I go, his show's great. Listen to his show. I did it the whole ride. Why? What's the point in that? There's a guy there who's genuinely interested in me, actually recognized my voice, thought it was somebody else who he enjoys. I could have parlayed that into, well, you know, the thing is, I have a YouTube channel and I do that sort of thing. But I spend so much time telling people not to like me. I don't know why. I don't know what that is. Because I'm embarrassed. Like, I mean, dude, I did that Joker clip. I still haven't tweeted it. Because in my mind, I'm like, fucking self-promotion. It's such a shitbag thing to do. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, that's what it's for. I mean, I've preached to the choir with you guys, and I hope you've seen it or you've shared it. That's great. Thank you. But I was going to send out an email blast to let people who might have remembered me do it, and I was going to put it on fucking Twitter and Instagram, and I haven't. Because in my brain, I'm like, people don't want that shit. It's the dumbest. It's literally the greatest impediment to me being a success that I can think of. The fact that I will always, always slice my own fucking throat and not take the opportunity to tell somebody something that I truly believe. I'm fucking great. So maybe that was still manifesting inside me while this guy was giving me side eye in the fucking burrito house. And we're getting closer to the counter. And then people are ordering and they're all, whatever the fuck. It's just a big cacophony of noise. People are eating, people are ordering, people are just fucking in line. We finally get to the front. And like I said, I didn't want a full mission burrito because also Fearful had cooked food for me before we left because I was starving. I hadn't eaten, in the morning at all. And he made me some smoked chicken that he had made somebody else 2 years ago. He unthawed that. And and then he had homemade falafel that was that tasted like a Brillo pad but was delicious. It was literally like eating a sock with falafel spices because it was so goddamn dry. But he gave me tahini with it, so I fucking sopped it all up. It was good. So I wasn't super hungry. I couldn't eat a whole mission burrito, and I wasn't going to be half a fucking wife and go, can we split a burrito, Fearful? I mean, fuck that. I mean, if Danny shows up, I split a burrito with Danny, certainly. And I split a burrito. If Baldy wants to split one, I split one with him too. But Fearful, I got to appear manly in front of him. So I'm like, well, what can I eat? And then I saw, this is so weird. I saw the crispy taco shells, and in my head, I want a crispy taco from this joint. Even though I'm sure, the soft tacos are better and stuff. So I was like, maybe I'll get a couple of tacos. Well, then they had fish tacos. I'm like, fuck, I love fish tacos. Authentic fish tacos, nothing better. But sometimes, like, they make them on the grill, and I love grilled fish tacos. I do. But sometimes you want a crunchy fucking fish fillet. Like you want the cabbage, the fucking kind of the tartar sauce, maybe some of the red sauce. You put some hot sauce on there and you got a fucking fish fillet. It's so good. So I was like, you know what? Now I want crunchy fish tacos. That's what I want. So I got to the front of the line And the Latino girl walks up, and I look at her and I go, "Hey, are the fish tacos fried?" And she's like, "Okay." I said, "The fish tacos, are they fried?" She, I don't. I go, "You have fish tacos?" "Oh, one fish taco? Yes, okay, one. No. I don't want a fish taco. I want to know if they're fried. Are the fish tacos fried?" And now, there's 12 people in line behind me. Baldy's in front of me. I asked the question. Are the fish tacos fried? Third attempt. I go, no, you have fish tacos. I point at the sign. She nods and I go, "Are they fried?" And she goes, "Hey, don't, hold, please, hold one." She turns around. A dude walks by with a bucket. And she grabs him. She's bringing him into the conversation. Now, you know what? Bucket Gonzalez has absolutely got this is our fish guy. I got the fish guy right here. He's the monger. He's got a bucket. This guy speaks less English than her. And she's going to drag him into the conversation? And he's like, and so in Spanish, she runs off a paragraph, and then he runs off a paragraph, and he goes, "Oh, okay." And he goes, one, and he goes to put fish on the grill. I go, "Dude, no. Seriously, you know what? Just taco plate. I just want a fucking taco plate." And she looks at me and she goes, "I don't, what?" I go, "Taco plate." And I point at the menu, and she goes, "I don't," and I go, "You know what? Forget it. I don't want a fucking thing. I'm fine." I look at Fearful, I go, "Order your food. It's good. Bye. And I walked out. I left. I had to. I'm done. You know what? I'm fine. Thank you. I'm sorry to bother you. Everybody enjoy your food. I literally turned around and I walked out. And I walked outside and I was going to take a lap. And instead I just kind of stood there and I walked and paced a little bit in place. And, then the Hulk goes away and I calm down and I become me again. And I go, "Well, that was stupid. Now you don't eat. This is you just fucked yourself." And I go, "Yeah, but they were," and I'm like, "No, but you could have taken the time. You could have ordered whatever. You could have had the fish taco, whatever you could have done it." So I'm having that conversation in my brain outside with more, and there's a line out the door with this fucking place. It must have been great. And now I resent the fact that I didn't get to eat because of my own fucking dumb shortcomings. But I stayed outside for about 3 minutes, just got some air, and I walked back in, and there was a table. I grabbed the table, I cleaned it off, and I'm sitting there waiting for Fearful to get his food, and he gets his food, and then he walks right by me. He doesn't even see me, and I go, "Dude," and he looks and he goes, "Oh," and he sits down to eat, and he goes, "You okay?" I said, I think so. I don't know. And he goes, what was that about? I go, and he goes, "Well, look," he goes, you weren't wrong. Like, it was weird that they didn't understand what you were saying. They get people in here. He goes, "I've been in here at 2 a.m. when drunk people try to order and they speak a lot worse than you do. And they seem to know everything they're fucking saying." He goes, but why did you, I think you said panic. He was like, "Why did you panic?" Because it must have looked like I panicked. And I just went, because I felt like I was going to do or say something I didn't want to do. I was getting mad, and I was already mad at the bald guy because all I was waiting was for him to turn around and go, "Dude, you can order," and then that would have been it. I mean, it would have just, then his fucking chiclets would have flown all over the goddamn restaurant, as I would have never stopped headbutting the motherfucker. I mean, I was just mad. I was in a mood. I was in a bit of a snit. Even though we were having a great conversation in line, we were having fun, we were laughing and joking, but him looking at me, combined with the fact that I didn't feel I was good enough in the car for some reason. And then the frustration of trying to be understood, because that's all I can be, is understood. All I have is my voice. All I have is the way to speak. And I was being very polite. I wasn't mean, but as it built and built and built, I was starting to go, "Look, you know what? I'll just have a taco plate. I'm fine. Just a taco plate." And then she didn't know what fucking taco plate was. I mean, because I was already like, fried fish, fried, fucking fried, Frito, fucking sizzle crunch. What the fuck? Who doesn't know what fried means? Taco plate. Taco's in your name, for fuck's sake. Like, I wanted to lose my mind and say that shit, but I'm like, that's the thing. I had to get out of there before I started doing that, because then, you know who you are. You're the guy who gets filmed as the racist guy who yelled at the Latino people that didn't understand you at the taco joint. And it wasn't about that. It was just about the fact that my own feelings of being angry were combining with the fact that I wasn't being understood, and I was trying to make myself heard, and I wasn't being heard. And Jesus Christ, is that frustrating? And so I went, and in my brain, I made the decision where I shut it down. I go, "You don't need a taco this bad. You do not need a taco this bad. Thank God for smoked chicken and dry falafel, because otherwise there would have been a fucking scene." So Fearful ate his burrito and we hung out. And he's like, "Dude, don't worry about it. We'll eat after the show." And I go, "All right, that's cool." I go, "Yeah, because I'll be hungry then." And he's like, "All right, cool." He goes, "Yeah, we'll even come back here if you want." I go, "Yeah, because this food like really smells good." I go, "I'm mad that I didn't get it. And also, I'm in San Francisco. I got to have food in the taqueria in the Mission. It's just what you do." And he's like, "Well, we'll come back after the show." And I said, "Great." So then we went for a lap, and we went into the venue, and there were no chairs. But I did, because here's another thing. As strong as my instinct for self-preservation is, and to only do the things that I want, my instinct to make the person I'm with more comfortable is stronger. So I didn't say a word about it. He's like, yeah, there's no chairs. I go, cool, let's go in. We went in, and it was a small venue that had a balcony upstairs and stuff, but we were hanging out, and he's like, hey, the show doesn't start till like 9. It was 8:15. He goes, do you want to go find something to eat? I go, well, if we could just go sit somewhere, that might be kind of cool. And we went across the street. He Googled it. There was a Japanese vegetarian joint. I'm like, that seems weird. I'll go eat a bowl of daikon radish. Why the fuck not? But right next door to it, there was a Greek semi-fast food, like almost like a Greek Chipotle joint. Like they had bowls and wraps, that kind of nonsense. And so I got a leg of lamb wrap. I got some potatoes cooked in chicken fat, and got fucking some fries and a glass of rosé that came with a prison cup straight out of a fucking movie from the 30s. It was ridiculous. I didn't have the rosé, by the way, because I'm a man. But Fearful, however, had the rosé, so that was good. I had a leg of lamb, a full big hunk of mutton, and I fucking got the grease all over my face like a man would, while he sipped his rosé with two fearful pinkies in the air. Yes, sir. So we went to, so we did that. We go back to the venue, and there's an opening act. It was our good friend Marissa Nadler, or Nadler perhaps, I don't know. And she comes out, and the fans are there milling about, and they all know Marissa because they introduce her and people clap and they go crazy. And she comes out and she's like, oh yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much. This is a very soft-spoken woman. She's wonderful. And it's just her and a guitar. And then sitting down is another gentleman who is playing any number of instruments. It could have been a glockenspiel. It could have been a guitar. It was a bass at one point. There's no drum. It's just basically a stripped down thing with the two of them. Because like I told you, Fearful said it was going to be a stripped down Mercury Rev show, but there were drums on stage. So we thought Marissa was going to use them, but then she didn't. And he's like, I don't know why there are drums here because this is a fucking like acoustic thing. And then Marissa Nadler starts singing, and singing. Instead of, she was singing because again, a lovely voice, but basically what she did was she started belting out a sea shanty. I mean, just literally like Gordon Lightfoot, wherever he is in the world, woke up because it was like the Lightfoot signal. She shined it into the air. He started putting on his Birkenstocks and his down vest, and he went, I'm needed somewhere. Someone needs to hear about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That's what's going on. Because she, she reminded me of? It was like if someone watched fucking Say Anything and gave the Joe Lies When He Cries girl a record contract. That's what happened. Joe lies, he lies when he cries. We need to sign you up, Marissa Nadler. Please wear your stocking hat to the show. She belts out a sea shanty in deep purple lighting. And people are swaying back and forth. And then she's like, and she finishes and people clap and snap their fingers and light a candle and whatever the fuck. And then she's like, here's another one. Oh, and she sings another plaintive wail that just sounded as if she was ruing the loss of a pet from youth. I mean, it was just trapped inside of her and she was finally getting it out. And it was, I couldn't even tell you what the words were, but it was like, I just, in my head, so then she finishes that song. She starts the third song. And it's literally the same song. It's again guitar one, and she's like, this guy didn't like me, and my dog is mean. And I lean over and I look at fucking Fearful, and I go, now let me ask you something. Does an opening act always play the same song over and over in this town? How does this work? And he goes, I don't know. This is unbelievable. Finishes the third song, goes into a fourth song. Same thing. I'm not kidding. Deep purple light. They're not changing the light at all. She's just bathed in this darkness. Deep purple light, and she's just moaning through complaints. That's all she's doing. I think she wrote every one of these songs in line at the DMV. I mean, it was just so fucking sad and awful. And she's just like, and I leaned over and I go, ladies and gentlemen, here's the next song. It's off of my album called Who Hurt You? It's going to be, and I leaned away again because I don't want to, because then we were just talking tonight about when I went to Bob Seger, and me and Pat and Siegel were ruining it for these people in the seat in front of us because they wanted to see Bob Seger. There had to be a Marissa Nadler fan in the audience there who was skin popping heroin and licking a razor blade. I mean, she was just the fucking, just that. She was the epitome of just sadness, and she was a wraith. That's all she was a wraith. So she starts singing again, and now she's like 30 minutes in. And I look at him and I go, this is a whole lot of Marissa. And he just goes, actually, that's her next album, A Whole Lot of Marissa. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And I then I looked at him and I go, you know that like her son is so looking forward to being stillborn. It was so sad. I mean, I can't tell you the just awful. And you know that she's going to get off stage and go in the back and sip a club soda and read tarot cards. Like she was that kind of chick, you know, she's barefoot. And look, I'm sure she's terrific. It's just not my speed. It's not for me. So then she's like, oh, well, thank you. You know, we reworked this one. Here's a song that we're going to bring to you right now. And literally she just hits the same chord and hits the same plane of notes. And it's awful. And the crowd is just still and silent. And I lean forward and I look at Fearful and I go, I got 4 words for this chick. 5, 6, 7, 8. And at that point we just laughed. We had to because it was so grim. Just this funeral dirge after funeral dirge. And if you played this at a wake, the guy would get up and leave. I mean, it was just so terrible. Like I can't even imagine this chick dating somebody and going, hey, I wrote another great song. Oh, really? Let's hear it. Oh, okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk into a propeller. We're breaking up now. Jesus, fuck. Like you just want to put a cast on that whole fucking album because it was broken, man. It was fucking broken. But I know somewhere somebody loves her. Her music. Nobody loves her because you can tell clearly by what she was bringing to the table. Jesus. So she finally finishes and I'm just like, I can't. Dude. Because then so I said to him, I go, that was a slog, man. And he goes, well, I got news for you. If you thought that was slow, the guys that are coming up next are not exactly going to pick up the pace. I said, oh, they're that kind of band? He goes, they're kind of like space rock meets something. I forget what your other description was. Space rock meets something. And he's like, but yeah, they can be a little dirgy or whatever, but they're great. I said, well, they'd have to be to follow that. So then my back started kind of twinging a little bit, because she did 45 fucking minutes, dude. And I even said to him, I go, dude, this is a lot of fucking Marissa. And he's like, well, opening act plays like 45. And I'm like, yeah, not really. I mean, I go to opening act plays 30. That's the way it works in my fucking town. And she could have played 10 and it would have seemed like 45. It didn't matter. I mean, we were just surfing sadness the whole fucking time. So I was waiting for the Rev to come on, and then I looked at him and I go, hey, I'm going to take a lap probably just to get some fucking blood circulating. And he goes, yeah, no problem. So I walked outside and it turned out there was an attached bar and it had tables and stools. And not only did it have tables and stools, but it had the Warriors season opener and it had the Dodger Brewer game on. Literally, the only other thing they could have said would free hand jobs for Mike Schmidt, and it would have been the most perfect spot for me at that moment. So I sat down, and I got the blood rolling on my legs, and I checked checked Twitter, checked the phone, checked the scores, saw what was going on, caught up. And I had told him, I go, look, I'll meet you back in here, once the band kicks in. But then in my head, I'm kind of like, the fucking game's on out here. Maybe I should watch the end of the game. And then he texted me fearful, and he's like, hey man, I went up to the mezzanine, and there's a table with chairs. Come on in. And part of me was going to be like, hey man, the Dodger game's in here. I'm going to watch the end of the Dodger game, and then I'll come in there. And that was the old man inside me. That was the cuckoo clock. It was just like, stay here, stay here, stay here. And then I went, fuck you. This dude bought your ticket. He fucking paid for you to go out to this night, and he didn't leave when you acted the fool at the taqueria. Go hang out with your friend. So I just typed back, awesome. I said, I'm on my way. And I ducked back into the room. I went upstairs and there was like 4 tables with stools. You didn't have a great view of the stage because there were people standing in the front, but there were 2 giant TVs that were covering everything, and you could see fucking everything, and you could hear perfect. The sound was perfect. It was honestly better than the sound downstairs. And Mercury Ave took the stage, and they came out, and I don't know fuck all about these guys. I didn't Google them. I didn't read anything about them. I was just going to fucking take them at face value and see what they brought. But then when they came out, it was a full band. And Fearful grabs my shoulder and he's just like, dude, they're going to use the drums. It's like I'm so happy. Like I didn't think they were going to do a full band thing. And then he drank his 4th spicy margarita. And I was like, all right, cool. And they started to play and their singer came out and I didn't like, I don't know anything about this fucking guy. Again, I don't know, but he came out and he had a vibe of, his vibe was Perry Farrell meets Tom Waits meets a jaunty sea captain. Because he had like a hat on, and he was dressed like he wasn't dressed like a dandy, but he was dressed like a guy you would see in a nice British pub reading a book. He looked like a gentle, nice man, and I liked him immediately. And they started to play, and you know, I got tired of live music when I was bouncing. You know, because I would see bands that I hated, or I'd see stuff and I didn't give it a chance. You know what I mean? Some bands I'd love and I loved, but also a lot of the time I was trying not to get spit on. You know what I mean? So that shit fucking showed up. And I even told him last night, I kind of like coming to these shows sometimes and standing by the stairs because then everybody looks at me like I got to check their ticket or their wristband because I just have that vibe, and I'm wearing black. I'm a big guy, so it happens all the time. But this band starts, and again, I don't know anything about them, and immediately I like them. I like him. And the guitarist is really good. His name is Grasshopper, I find out later, so that takes some points off. But other than that, and I asked him, I go, is this the original band? Because the bass player, like the drummer looked young. And he's like, no, he goes, the guitarist and the singer are the original guys. He goes, the three other guys are new. I don't know how new, but they've been in, you know, not original members. Because this band's been around since, I Googled it, fucking 91 they've been around. And they hadn't played in San Francisco in a decade. They're from here. So they were greeted like conquering heroes when they came out on stage. And they did like an hour and 40 minutes, and it was fantastic. Like, I mean, I didn't know them at all, but I related so hard to this dude because, and without getting into too much stuff, like a lot of their songs were about loss and about how he had always thought he was going to be with someone and then they disappeared, or how he felt after a breakup, or there wasn't, but they weren't sad. Does that make sense? Like their music still was tinged with optimism, even they were talking about sad things. And you know why? Because his lyrics and him, they came off as capturing sadness in his life, but the music was so empowering and soaring and anthemic, you couldn't help it but love it. It just was, man, they were great. And I looked at him and I was like, these guys remind me of like Arcade Fire and bands like, and he's like, oh my God, yeah, he goes they've got to be an influence on them. And I was fascinated. So I'm Googling songs. I would catch a snippet of a lyric and I would Google it to find out the song and read the rest of the lyrics. And there was a song about, you know, am I the only lonely boy in Central Park? And there was I didn't catch the names of the songs because it wasn't a glad handing rock show. He caught me right away because he came out on stage and he was dressed in a black suit and the sleeves were too long on the shirt. But he looked great and his hat looked, but he had a gray beard, but not like gray fuzz. And he said, and he came right out and he said, we have not seen you guys for a decade. And I'm so happy that you've come, and I actually see familiar faces. And I can't tell you how overjoyed we are here tonight to do this for you. And thank you for making it happen. Like, he was genuinely gracious. And then he wasn't a rock guy punching the air and dancing and jumping and stuff. He would hold the mic stand almost as if he were kind of, I can't even find the word. He was being observed and he didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like he that sort of thing. Like he seemed like a tenuous front man. Like he was not comfortable being in front because he kept gripping the microphone and sliding his hand over it. And he kept monkeying with he had a tripod mic. So he kept monkeying with the thing and just touching the knobs. Like he never sat still. He never looked comfortable in his own skin, but he was comfortable on stage. I hope that makes sense. And song after song just got better and better. They were so good. And these motherfuckers knew how to put together a set list, because in the beginning, you know, there was a song that was kind of slow but an anthem, and then there was another song that was slower, and then there was a song that seemed kind of hopeful. And then by the end, the last song that they fucking did, the words are bleak as hell. It's this one about I dreamed I would love you. I never dreamed I would lose you. In my dreams, I'm always strong. That was the chorus that was getting repeated. And so it's just this devastating, because she's gone, the woman's gone, but the music, you're just like, yes, it just washed over you and stole you. They stole me. I was there to be taken and they stole me. It was fucking great. So I look forward to exploring them now and finding out all that their music is about. And I want to see, it's funny, what I will do is I'll find the set list and I'll build that in my playlist so I can listen to that back to front and then explore the rest of it and find them. And this might be the band, you know, when you find a band like this, like I can't go buy all of their work from 91, but this might be the band that makes me get Spotify. This might be the band that makes me kick over finally and get Apple Music, because I can add them as friends and have them in my life. and not have to go crazy and pay and all that kind of, and not resent it, not reject it. So it was great. It was a fantastic show. I was so excited to go. And then the show ends, and and like I said, we're going to go get some tacos, and I'm excited to walk around San Francisco because I love walking a city. I've told you that I love walking a city, just walking around, and so I was excited. And show ends, and I look around. I'm like, wow. And they didn't do an encore. There was no bullshit rock and roll nonsense. They just they waved goodbye. They were genuinely happy. They shook hands. They smiled, and they left. And everybody was very happy. And we walk outside, and he goes, all right, the Uber should be here any minute. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I ordered the Uber inside. I go, why did you order the Uber inside? Oh, fuck, I forgot this. Before we left, we go to sit over. There was a purse. I found a purse. I go, dude, give me that purse. And he goes, what? He goes, go turn it in at the bar. And I go, well, I want to give it to a manager. And he's like, you sure? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. But truthfully, I'll be honest with you. There was a blonde sitting there. I knew who she was, and it was her purse. So I was going to find her and return the purse because maybe I wanted to talk to her. Maybe I wanted to say hi. But he gives me the purse, and he goes, yeah, just go turn it in at the bar. And I go, I'm fine. I got it. And he goes, well, it's right there. He goes, you don't trust that guy? I go, I don't know. He looks nefarious. Whatever. I'll turn it in. I'm fine. So we walk down the stairs, and we walk over. There's a bar right off the stairs. And he walks over, and he touches a waitress. He puts his hand. I go, dude, I got it. I'm fine. And he goes, well, you can just turn it in right here. I go, I'm fine. All right, fine. And the woman comes over, and I not the blonde, the fucking waitress. And I go, hi, I found this upstairs. And I hand it to her. She goes, oh, thanks. And we walk out. I go, I'm a grown up, dude. I can handle this. He goes, well, I just want to take care of it. I get you took it away from me, and I could have given it upstairs. I go, dude, I knew the woman who was holding it. She was kind of cute. I wanted to find her and hand it to her. I wanted to be a hero for a second. And he's like, oh man, I wasn't even thinking about that. Well, the Uber's probably outside. I'm like, what do you mean the Uber? And he goes, yeah, I ordered it right when the music ended. He goes, you got to do it, otherwise the surge is going to go up. And I go, I thought we were getting tacos. And he didn't hear me. And he goes, look, because he's like, it's here. And he walks away. And he starts waving at this woman. And then we get in the car, and that's fucking Chatty, who won't fucking shut the fuck up. And then we drive past the homeless enclave, and we're heading home. And also, I'm fat, so I wanted to stop at a Walgreens and possibly get a chocolate bar because I was starving. And I shouldn't eat that, and I know, and you're right. And I'm trying to fucking grab it by the reins, and it's the same thing as the taco explosion. Yes, I'm trying to fix these things. But we just drove home. He chose pool, and we drove home. And I would have paid. If I would have paid for the Uber to go to a Walgreens and then get chocolate bars and go fucking home. I know, but I shouldn't. Whatever the fuck. But we drive, and we get to the house, and that's when we walked in. And I looked at him, and I was like, I'm actually starving. And he's, what? And I go, well, we were going to get tacos after the show. And he's, oh, yeah, you should have said something. And I go, I said something 10 times before the show started. And he goes, well, yeah, I was excited to get the Uber and just come home or whatever. And I go, okay, that's fine. I was going to stop at Walgreens too, remember? And he's just like, oh yeah. I wanted to make sure we got the Uber. I'm like, dude, Uber's, that doesn't close. But that's when he decided to bust out a bag of dough and make me fucking bread in the middle of the goddamn night. Even though he had work the next morning, he's like, yeah, dude, I'll totally make, and I will tell you this, he made me homemade pita, jelly and butter, and I fucking rolled it up, and I made like a big fucking, and I mowed through it. It was badass. It was really good. And then we're sitting there, we're talking about whatever the fuck last night, and then I go, did you make 2 of these? And I'm not going to lie to you. I know he didn't make 2 of them. He's like, no, do you want another one? I go, yeah, that'd be kind of cool if it wasn't a problem. I go, you know what? You don't have to do that. I know you had to pound it out with a rolling pin and all that shit. He goes, dude, I got no problem with it. I'm happy to do it. That's why I've got it here. And so he went out and he made me another fucking giant pita, and I wolfed that down at fucking 2 a.m. And then he went to work, and I got up today, and his daughter came home while I was sitting at the table and with a friend. That was even weirder. She comes in with a friend, and I'm sitting at this kitchen table. And they don't even look at me. They're talking about like little girl stuff. Well, the Slytherin are there, and she's talking about Harry Potter and whatever the fuck. And I'm literally looking at them, hoping they don't turn around and fucking scream. Because part of me thought about silently just slinking out, because I don't even know if she knows I'm here. But they come in, and they're they're little girls. They're all dewy. They got their fucking bicycle helmets on, and they're all like, yeah, they got braces. Yeah. So the thing with the Slytherin, and I don't want to scare them. They're gentle creatures. I don't want to scare these fucking kids. I'm just a giant fucking monster with a bad half a Hitler haircut sitting in front of a laptop. Literally looked like I'm filming them. You know what I mean? Just awful. And they came in, and I'm waiting for them to see me. And the funniest thing is his daughter. She's oblivious. She doesn't even look. The other girl walks her bike in. And she turns around and she's just like, yeah, so I'm going to put my bike over here. She looks at me, she goes, she freezes and gets like wide and goes, hello. I go, hi. And then his daughter turns around and goes, oh, hi. And I go, hi. Happy birthday. She goes, thanks. And they just run upstairs. And I'm sure they went upstairs and she's like, who was that? That's my dad's radio friend.
I did tell her.
Still. She wrote it in stride. The friend, though, had no fucking clue. But his daughter was extremely sweet and very polite. She came downstairs. They went upstairs to play. And then they came downstairs and she goes, excuse me, are you going to be downstairs? And I said, which downstairs? And she goes, down in the basement? And I go, no, I'll be here. I go, if you need this space, tell me to do homework or something. I'll go down in the basement. She goes, no, we have a game that we play, but we got to play it in the basement. And we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to disturb you if you were going to be in the basement. I said, no, I'm fine. And she goes, okay, well then we're going to go down there. Is that okay? I said, well, absolutely. And she walked away. And she goes, thank you for letting us. And I said, thank you for checking. And because I don't know, I try to be gentle and nice. And because I also don't want to be ominous. I don't know what the fuck to do with kids. The same thing with a dog. Like, I don't know what to fucking do with a dog. I mean, kids are nicer, certainly, and a dog's not going to call the cops on me, which is fine. But they went downstairs and they played and they had a good time. But I met a dog. I fucking met a people-faced dog finally. I went to go get food on Sunday, and I was walking it, and this woman had a Boston Terrier, and he was like out of central casting. He was the perfect size. He was black and white. And he was thin, like he was lean, kind of. And he looked at me, and he just immediately, his little ears picked up, and I was like, oh, dude. And he jumped up to like look at me, and I looked at her and I go, can I pet your dog? And she goes, oh yeah, please. And I had both hands behind his ears, and he's jumping on me and he's licking my face and he's jumping on. I mean, he loved me. He fucking loved me. And finally, I like kind of stopped petting him, and he kept jumping toward me. And I looked at her and I go, man, I want a Boston so bad. She goes, you should get one. They're so great. I said, I can't have it at my apartment. And she's like, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I go, yeah. And then I pulled out my phone and I showed her the 50 photos I have of Bostons from Instagram that I've stolen. And I think it crossed over into weird at that point, probably, when I'm like, here, look at my phone, look at these dogs, look at these dogs. And, but then I said, I go, can I take a picture of me with your dog? And she goes, oh yes. And so I went down to pet him. And he licked my face like in the most perfect. I have a perfect shot of him licking my face. It's so gorgeous. So I thought I could use that same strategy with his daughter. So she came upstairs and I petted her face. I petted her and she jumped up and down. And I have the most perfect shot of her licking my face. It's unbelievable, folks. I can't wait to share it with you. Don't call 911. Put that phone down, Fearful. And then tonight we went out for pizza and we went for frozen yogurt and and we had a blast, man. And I thank Fearful for having me up here. And I'll tell you on the other side about the podcast. You know, he's got the Paranoid Strain podcast, which is amazing. And I'm going to do some recording for that while I'm here. I think that's what I was told. Possibly, I don't know if I am still. I might be getting drummed out. Quite frankly, I got to be honest with you. I mean, this has been fun. It's been great. I've had a great time. His daughter's upstairs. She's frightened in her bed, and all I've done is told him to buy fabric softener and clean his fucking house. So I got news for you. This will be my last broadcast from Fearful Jesuits compound. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friends. Did you know that? You can be my friends at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. And also, I'm at other places on the net. Yes, I am. Instagram and Snapchat. That's where you'll find me. I'm Mike40YOB at both of those places. Mike40YOB at Instagram and at Snapchat. More Instagram. Snapchat, that's a fucking wasteland. I hear from my buddy Sir Coxley a bunch of times and other people. But other people are out there. You know, Sir Coxley sounds dirty, but it's not. He's a good guy. Although he could be dirty. He's just not dirty to me on Snapchat. Maybe he's Sir Coxley with other people. And I don't know. I think it's his name. But I know it's his name. I don't want to say his name. All right, anyway. I'm on there. I'm on Instagram and Snapchat. Find me, Mike40YOB. Ryan Dirks does all the web stuff for this show. You can find him at Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and be his pal. He's great. He deserves it. He needs friends. Giovanni Giorgio Peluso is also the best. He has done all of our a lot of our tech stuff. He built our YouTube channel. He helps me out with webcam stuff. He's trying to get me up to speed on streaming, which I'll probably talk about on the other side. Should there be a stream next week? I think there should be. I'll figure out what day and I'll tell you on the other side because everybody's telling me now Wednesday at 6 is too early and people work and I don't fucking know. So I got to think of a time and a date. But there will be a live stream next week. It's stupid to announce it now, but I'm going to make you wait till after the fucking song? Maybe. But you want to hear the song anyway. Although you listen to the song and then you turn me off. You don't want to hear the plugs, but maybe you do. Well, you got to hear the plugs. I got to talk about Fearful. Otherwise, I got to pay rent to stay at his fucking house. So go find Giovanni at facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso. You can find him there. He's the best, and be his friend and tell him he's great. And remember, he's got his own YouTube channel called The Love Between the Two Hosts. He's got the Geo Get It On podcast, and then he's got all of the Love Line stuff that he puts together. Go ahead and find that, please, and tell him, give him an attaboy for all his hard work there. He's saving shows that otherwise would not have been saved, and he's preserving something that people love, and that's always something that you should thank him for. So please find our friend Giovanni Giorgio Peluso at all the places I just mentioned and tell him he's the best, because he's great and he helps us out too. David Hernandez is the guy who does all of the artwork and the music for the show. He's the best. He's our friend, our consigliere. And he also can be contacted via Facebook, facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Be his friend on there. See all the memes he posts. You might want to even friend his dog. His Shih Tzu has a fucking page. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I mean, go to Mex's page, because sometimes the Shih Tzu will cross-post on there. That's our friend Rogue. But she's out there, and she's got a heckin' popular page, so you want to go ahead and follow all that stuff. But David Hernandez, not only does he do the art music for this show, but he can do art for you. You'll have to find him at artbydmh.com. He is unbelievably busy, and I'm glad that he is, because he does great work for me, and I know he can do great work for you. He's mainly taking commissions now, so what you can do is contact him through Facebook. Okay, if you contact him through Facebook, like I said, facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez, and get him involved in doing a project for you, especially with the holidays coming up. He needs a lot of lead time. If you want oil or watercolor or anything like that, please contact him with enough time for him to get the work done, because it has to dry, then he has to ship it, all of that stuff. But think about that. Now, again, with us in October, holidays are creeping up. So if you really want to get something on board, you should probably go ahead and step to the front of the queue right now. You can get him at artbydmh.com. Like I said, go check out his work there. See his past stuff. You can see his style, see all of the great works that he's done, because you're familiar with the stuff here from the show, but also on the website, you can see really great stuff he's done for people, and stuff he's done just on his own. But you want to hire him to do personal commissions for you. You want him to do artwork. You should do that. So go ahead and find him, like I said, at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Contact him there to go ahead and hire him to do any sort of commissions for you or your family, especially with the holidays coming up. And also, please go check out artbydmh.com just to fucking look, just to go ahead and breathe in the greatness of David. That's where you want to go. Go to artbydmh.com. That's artbydmh.com.
And it's raining all day, loves to be one of the girls. She lives in the place in the side of our lives where nothing is ever put straight. She turns herself round and she smiles and she says, "This is it, that's the end of the joke." And loses herself in her dreaming and sleep, and her lovers walk through in their clothes day. Pretty in pain, isn't she? Pretty in pain, isn't she? All of her lovers all talk of her notes and the flowers that they never sent. And wasn't she easy? Isn't she pretty in pink? The one who insists he was first in the line is the last to remember her name. He's walking around in this dress that she wore. She is gone, but the joke's the same. Pretty in pink, isn't she? Pretty in pink, isn't she? Talks to you softly sometimes. She says I love you and too much. She doesn't have anything you want to steal. Well, nothing nothing you can touch. She waves. She buttons your shirt. The traffic is waiting outside. She hands you this coat. She gives you her clothes. These cars collide. Pretty in pink, isn't she? Pretty in pink, isn't she? All their favorite rags are worn and other kinds of uniform. Kitty, you're really free like individuality. You are what you want to be until tomorrow. All their favorite rags are worn and other kinds of uniform. Kitty, you're really free like individuality. You are what you want to be until tomorrow.
So two things. One, Mercury Rev is from upstate New York. I just made a big deal about them being conquering heroes in the Bay Area and coming back after a decade. And yeah, they're not from here. They're not even a band. I didn't go to the show. I never even went. It was not. None of this happened. This is all invalidated. He doesn't even have a daughter. Fearful. He's got nobody. I haven't taken any Ubers. I'm actually at my house. I'm not even at his house. I've actually recorded a laugh track so someone can just come punch it in at the. You know what? There's not even anybody laughing. I'm going to punch that in post. I'm actually doing post now. That's the biggest lie I've told all day, that I would do post work on this fucking show. So forgive me. They were a terrific band no matter where they were from. And also, I should tell you that, when you invite me to your house to come do this, I've done it in Phoenix. I've done it here. I did it with Justin in a hotel room, and people are very nice. And one of the main things that people do is they keep track of what they consider to be possible titles for the show. And, or I should say, at least they used to do that, and now they've stopped. They used to diligently have a pen. Like Colette was going to do it. All these people, whenever I record at their house, I'm like, kind of the part of this is if you could keep track of what could be titles for me, so I don't have to go back and listen. And Fearful, he's like, I think I thought of one early, but I don't remember. He's just enjoying himself in his fucking white T-shirt, his Fruit of the Loom shirt, laughing at the show and drinking his beer or whatever the fuck. He's not even doing his part of the work. So I'm not sure what the name of the show is. I'm going to have to go back and figure it out. I think he said something about beans and spoons was a possibility, but I think it was something else at the whatever minute mark. Who cares? I'll check. And why do you care about that? You already know the name of the show. The show's done. Why would I even tell you about that garbage? Plugs. You want plugs? I'll tell you some plugs, folks. First of all, there's a podcast that sponsors this podcast. What? That doesn't make any sense at all. But yes, that's happened. I've got a podcast who stepped up, and it's Why Fearful Jesuit himself, who happens to be in the room. Well, no, it's in post, but he's got the Paranoid Strain podcast, which is amazing. It's available in the iTunes store now. And while I'm going to make you talk because I have questions too, because I always think of this in the fucking moment and I forget to do the research on it. But first of all, go listen to the Paranoid Strain, download it in iTunes, and leave a message in the iTunes store, like a review, telling him what you think of the show, telling him that we sent you, so he knows that it's an effective sponsorship, certainly. Contact him, if you will, if you listen to the show. He's got an email address. So what is the email address where they can find you? Give it to me. theparanoidstrain@gmail.com. Write him, tell him you love the show, tell him that you know about the show because of us. Make sure he knows that we're hitters and that we bring you guys to the table. You know what? Make sure he knows that when we talk about his milkshake, it brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. So also the other thing I wanted to ask, so you've got theparanoidstrain@gmail.com, yes. And they can leave the review in the iTunes store for you.
Yes. And then we have a YouTube channel.
That's what it was. The YouTube channel is?
It's just look up The Paranoid Strain on YouTube.
All right, if you look up The Paranoid Strain on YouTube, because I will tell you this, I tried...
my own dedicated page
Well, I tried to tag. Well, of course not, because I'm the talent. Again, remember, I'm really good, and I've been good for a very long time. You're a fucking neophyte. You're paying guys to tell people about you. How fucking bad is that? Yesterday, I will tell you this, because you're not on Instagram. Because I tried to tag you. I posted a thing from your compound yesterday on Instagram. And I tried to do hashtag paranoid strain, and there's only one usage of it on Instagram in eternity. Hashtag paranoid strain, and it's for weed. Some guy's got a bag, and it's something called he's like, this paranoid strain will wipe you out, or whatever the fuck, and he hashtagged it paranoid strain. So please use the paranoid strain at gmail.com to contact Fearful Jesuit and tell him how much you love the show and how you heard about it from me. And also go to the YouTube channel. Just put Paranoid Strain in there and search for it, and you'll find it. And you'll find it. Again, right now, the 9/11 show part 2 is up. You can find 9/11 part 1 from a couple of like a month and a half ago, I think it was. But he did a quick hitter on QAnon in between. And by the way, his 7th show has Alex Jones. It's about Alex Jones. He'll tell you about it in Uber Pool and fucking blow your mind. So go ahead and listen to all of his shows. They're available in the iTunes store. Subscribe both to YouTube and in the iTunes store to the podcast, and then make sure you contact him and tell him that you heard about the show from us, and also tell him about the great work he's doing. He loves hearing about that, and we love bringing it to you. And thank you again, Fearful, for sponsoring the show. We have a YouTube channel. While you're there looking at Paranoid Strain, if you want to slum a little bit, go find the 40-Year-Old Boy YouTube channel. We've got all sorts of stuff up there, including the clip I did regarding the Joker, which I want you to watch and share with people. And you're like, well, why the fuck should we share it? You're not sharing it with anybody. That'll change this week, I promise. I will share it. I will send it out because I think it's something that I would be proud for people to see. And so if you could share it with people, that's great. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's fine. Don't share it, whatever the fuck, or tell me it's bad. I do whatever you do, because that's what people do all the fucking time. But I will share it. You share it. Let's all share it. And let's get people to watch this Joker thing so I can get out of the ghetto of podcasting and back into TV where I belong. That seems aggressive. You guys are fans and you're all my friends. I have a low battery. I'm going to have to go plug in, unless I can fucking talk through this. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try. Well, I can't. No, I'll never wrap up the show in this time. I'm at a 5-minute battery life. God damn, not even 5 minutes, 5%. That's not even 5 minutes. Here, I'm going to talk right to 1%. No, I'm not. I'll be back.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner? EJ and Joaquin try to discover how you go from body heat to body meat.
You know, I remember she was in the hospital a while back. Do you know something like she got in a fight with some other celebrity?
Oh, yeah. I heard that 2 years ago or whatever, before Ike Turner passed away, he got really drunk one night, and he mistook Kathleen for Tina, and he just punched her for 5 hours.
That's right. I do. Yeah, you're right. I remember that now.
He just unloaded on her until he sobered up, and then I think he said sorry.
What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? Find out on What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
He went nutbush on her.
I have the power!
I decided to go He-Man just to see if I wake the kid up upstairs in the middle of all this nonsense. Earlier, I was like, I'm going to wake her up by saying fuck. Now I want her to have dreams of He-Man and be like, holy shit, Castle Grayskull's downstairs. So we plugged in, or we used a power strip, and that's how it works. That's how it works, folks. I don't know if you know this. Plug in a power strip, you get power. We're back up to 6%, 7%. As I looked at it, I got that. That was me. That was all me. That wasn't even the fucking juice. That was just off the power of me talking and looking. The power of my steely gaze made it go to 7%. I'm going to try to look at it again and make it go 8%. Boom. Nah, still 7. All right, so I've told you about the YouTube channel, the one that exists in the Paranoid Strain, and I told you about our YouTube channel. Go to there, 40-Year-Old Boy. I was talking about the Joker thing. If you like it, watch it. That'd be great. We'd love it very much. Hey, who wants to drive for Uber and Lyft? Remember earlier I talked about what a great idea it was, and I how terrible it was, a pyramid scheme, and I convinced people to go ahead and take my money away from me. Here's, I should tell you this: our buddy Dustin, a guy who listens to the show, signed up. Did I mention this on the show? Dustin, I'm his Uber pimp. He's out there now. He's working the streets for me, man. I'm bitch better have my money. That's all I got to say. Well, I'll tell you this: if he makes 25 rides, I just got a note from Uber. I get $10. What the fuck? You gotta be kidding me, man. They have lowered the bonus, because then I have somebody else who signed up somewhere, and they're like $200, but they haven't even taken a drive yet. Because, people will sign up and then they're like, I'm not fucking doing this. And I don't blame them. Seriously. But then the worst part is Uber's like, remind your friends to get on the road and make you some money. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do, is crack the whip on these people. That's exactly what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, motherfuckers, you said you were going to help me. Jesus Christ. Way to pit the fucking rabble against one another, for fuck's sake, as they sit up and smoke their fucking cigars and pipes. So anyway, if you want to get involved in all that, fun stuff. You want to be like Dustin and make me $10, or somebody else and make me 200, or somebody else and sign up and never drive. I don't care. You can do that though. You can go to Lyft and do it using the code Mike, all caps, Mike, M-I-K-E 720057. And if you want to be an Uber driver, and why wouldn't you? They're the monolith. They're the big name. They're the Coke. They're the Pepsi. I'm sorry. No, they're the Coke, not the Pepsi. Why would they be both? Maybe they're both. They're the Cola. They're all of those things. You can be the guy with them. This is all lowercase. Use this code DJZW1YTTUE. That's DJZW1YTTUE. Go ahead and use that code, and you can use that as a first-time rider as well. I get a couple of bucks for that. But if you want to be a driver, you sign up with that code. I get a taste of that, and it's very exciting. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Remember that the Cameo app still exists. You can download that and have me shout at your family members, or just say hi to you, whatever the fuck you want me to do. Go ahead and download the Cameo app. And because look, who in their right mind wants to hire Rampage Jackson to say hi to them in the morning? Who among you wants to pay big bucks to get Tommy Lee on the blower? Who out there wants to talk to a Los Angeles Clipper bench warmer? Nobody. You want to talk to me. You want me to give you a 6-minute diatribe from the inside of my new apartment. Who among you wants to hire Garen Cockrell from Never Not Funny to call them up and say something? Because I'll tell you what, if you've thought about that even in an instant, never call me. Never hire me. I look, I love Garen. He's a sweet guy, but I got to admit, when I saw that he was now on the Cameo app, I just went, well, I've only booked like 3 people. So I'm like, this thing, I don't know if it's just a house of cards waiting to fall, or is just like, eventually is it like Andy Warhol's company and everyone's going to get 15 minutes to be on the Cameo app? Nothing against Garen. He's terrific. He's over there at the Daily Beast. He's looking stuff up on the internet. So why wouldn't you want to talk to him? He's a very quiet, gay, nice guy, and good for him. I love him. But when I saw his name, I was just kind of like, yeah, this is Cameo. That's what it is. It's me and Garen Cockrell just shouting at you from a void. So please book us immediately. Fuck it. Don't even book me. Book Garen. Have Garen leave you a 6-minute message, because he's the best. Have him contact you and talk about video games or movies or the things that you love, because he's knowledgeable and fun and he's a sweet guy, and you want to definitely have him on your phone. You don't want me. Look at me. I'm shouty. I tell you to buy fabric softener. I'm yelling about shit. I'm disturbing your kid. You don't want to fucking have me cameoing. But if you do, download the app, hire Garen, get a message from him. You know what? Do me a favor. Book Garen to call me. Book Garen to book me. Do that. Book Garen to hire me to fucking call you. It's perfect. Then he gets money, I get money, and you get us. It's look at that. I've just changed the whole logo on the fly. So get the Cameo up and make it happen, because we're awesome, and you love us. You love everybody. Hey, you know, I have a Patreon page. Did you know that? You can be a patron at the Patreon page. Thank you to everybody who signed up recently and jumped in there and made it a cool thing. And you're the best, and you support this show in a way that I can't possibly express my gratitude for in this short amount of time. But you keep it afloat, and that's the best. Like I said, I go out and I drive and I do what I got to do there, but man, it would be a whole lot fucking worse if it wasn't for you guys stepping up on the Patreon page. So thank you so much for taking care of me there, and become a patron. If you're not a patron now, dude, $1 a month, $5 a month. What's that? A fucking latte? A Schmidt latte? A Schmitte? Whatever the fuck. Yeah, like that. Just table your $5 and buy it for me. I'm a chai schmitte. Just fucking guzzle me down, man. Fucking book me. I think it's even less to buy me than a latte, $5 a month. They got a $5 box at Pizza Hut now. These crafty fuckheads. They're like, hey man, because everybody's got that $5 thing. Subway used to have $5 footlongs, but now it's $6 because they're dicks. But then everybody's like at Wendy's, they're like 4 for $4, or McDonald's like 2 for $5. Everybody's got all this thing now because we're all hobos and nobody has any fucking money. So we got to buy all these wrestling mats they're passing off as fucking sausage McGriddles and hope that it doesn't kill us. Literally, they're selling cancer in a box, but it's cheap, so we eat it. But now Pizza Hut's like, man, we've got a medium pizza with 1 topping for $5. We've also got chicken wings for $5. We've also got pizza sticks for $5. We've also got, finger in the ass for $5. But the thing is, you can't buy one thing for $5. You got to buy 2 for $10. So they're like, here's our new $5 menu. It's like, fuck you, man. This isn't a $5 menu. It's a $10 menu. Yes, but you get 2 things. Well, don't lie. Don't come at me with your crafty semantics. I do not go to Pizza Hut for semantics. Believe me. I'm going to go to your finer pizza places and get semantics. That's fine with me. But at Domino's, I don't want you delivering a fucking parable. I don't want that. Nobody wants me to call Papa John's and get a riddle. I want you want $5? Give me a $5 menu where everything's $5. Now I got to combine it and everything's got to team up. Fuck your Wonder Twin powers of pizza. I'm not coming to your fucking establishment, you dicks. I'm aggressively angry at Pizza Hut for no real reason. However, I think I'm justified if you give it 5 seconds of thought. I don't even know how the fuck I got onto that. Oh, our Patreon page. Please, by all means, Sponsored $5 a month. That's all you got to do. And I don't make you team up two things for $10. I don't, although you can. Why not? Just pay, give a lot of dough. Why not? You're the best. We've got an Amazon page. Well, first of all, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page. And if you're there's things you can buy. And again, like I said, nothing's 2 for 5, 2 for 10, or 1 for 5. We got CDs. We got all sorts of stuff. But most importantly, there's the Amazon link there. If you go ahead and click on the Amazon link and click through and do your shopping, we get money, they get money, you get stuff. It works out great. And it doesn't cost you anything extra. What does it cost you? 5 seconds to blaze over to my site, go to the Joe Business page, click through the Amazon link, and then you're shopping under the umbrella, the safety of Mike Schmidt. It's like having insurance, internet insurance. And so if somebody smashes into you with a cart while you're there at Amazon and someone hurts your leg, you can call me and I'll sue these motherfuckers. That's how it works. You're under the protection of Mike Schmidt. It can't be better. So go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, go to the Joe Business page, click on the Amazon link, and then you're shopping, and then you're making things happen. And now we're cooking with gas. While you're there, buy gas. And buy something to cook too, if you would. That'd be great. Because you know why? I get money, they get money, you get stuff. I should say we get money. Why did I say I get money? Why did I make this all of a sudden an independent thing? We get money, the royal we. When I get money, you get money. We all share in it together. I'll tell you what. Go to Amazon. Buy something. Buy $100. You send me a receipt. Buy $100 worth of something at Amazon. Send me a receipt with proof, and I will book you on Cameo to tell me something. Go ahead. I'm sure you're on there because everybody in the fucking world is on there. So if you buy something at Amazon worth $100, send me the receipt. I will go to Cameo and hire you to fucking send me a notice. That works out great for all of us, doesn't it? All right. Am I being anywhere? Am I going anywhere and doing anything? I don't think I am. No, I think. I'll tell you this. All right. Last week I was Ubering, as you know. I was hardcore in the car. Picked up a guy named Dean. I use his name because, again, I'm hoping he's listening. He told me he would. I doubt he will. And if he did listen, he didn't get this far into the episode. Dean gets in the car. He's had a couple. So he's a little floaty. But we're having a nice conversation. And Dean's Irish, and I picked it up right away. He had the lilt. And I didn't say it right away, but I was, he was going where he lived, and I was like, how long you lived here? And he's like, well, I moved here from, to work from Ireland. And I was like, I knew you were from Ireland, dude. I had it. And we talked, and it turns out he's a producer, or he's an art director. And I said, oh, okay. He goes, I work in animation. And I go, oh, okay. And we're like are you a writer? Are you a producer? What do you do? And he goes, I'm an art director for the new Tom and Jerry. I said, oh. I have been waiting to talk to you my entire life. He goes, excuse me? And he goes, I said, what's it on? And he goes, it's on Cartoon Network, but it's also on YouTube. We have a dedicated YouTube channel. He goes, we get 7 million views. He goes, I can't even explain it. He goes, the work is good. He goes, I'm not deriding the work, but I mean, Tom and Jerry have been around for 70 years. I go, yeah, I know that. I watched them growing up. I go, but here's what I'm going to ask you this. I go, you're an art director? And he goes, yeah. And I go, do you have any say in the scripts? You talk to anybody over there? And he goes, I could talk to people all the time. And I go, all right. Cause, like I said, I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. He goes, all right. What do you mean? And I go, if you can get a hold of anybody in editorial, anybody in script writing, anybody at all in the writer's room, any producer at all. And if you could somehow get Tom to kill that fucking mouse, I would be so excited. He like flinched. He goes, what? I go, fuck Jerry. I hate him. He's horrible. He's ruined Tom's life. He's mean. I get why you have to do it. Children have to see that the small guy can win. But Tom's just trying to live his life. And he starts laughing like he's just fucking dying. He goes, hold on. I'm writing this down. And I go, I want the show to open. I go, here's the thing. I go, I want him to kill him. I don't even want I go, what are those shows, 7 minutes? He goes, yeah, probably around 7 minutes. I go, great. I don't want even 7 minutes of like back and forth. First fucking 30 seconds, he catches Jerry, puts him in his mouth and pulls out a mouse skeleton. Just pulls out a mouse skeleton. And then the next 6 minutes and 58 seconds are him cursing Jerry's family. Just to get back at him for the 40 years, 70 years of him fucking ruining his life. I go, because all Tom wants is pussy. You ever see that? Tom meets a girl cat and he wants to fuck her and he comes around, he does a dance, he puts on a zoot suit, he sings a weird song, and then Jerry has to get the same fucking suit. He has to play the same ukulele, and the thing is, he's not fucking hitting on a mouse, he's hitting on the other fucking cat. You interspecies fucking dickbag. You know what? Let Tom get laid. That's all he's got to do. Let him get laid. And this guy's just like, slow down. He's really putting it in the phone because he's drunk and he's from Ireland. He doesn't know any better. Well, all right, I don't want to disparage the Irish, certainly. But I mean, I guess he thought I was seriously, because I was just trying to make him laugh, but at the same time I was venting about the fact, and I said, I go, look, I have a, because he had asked me about my show. I go, on my show I've talked about Tom and Jerry. I go, it's like Roadrunner. I go, they fucking bait and switched us. I go, don't you dare bait and switch me, Dean. I go, when I was a kid, they bait and switched me with Roadrunner. I go, tonight the Coyote catches the Roadrunner. Coyote catches the Roadrunner, and he did, but he had shrunk down to where he was only an inch tall, and he was holding like his toe or something, and then the Roadrunner fucked him up. I go, I don't want that. I go, I want Tom to legitimately. I want 7 minutes of mouse torture. I go, if you don't kill him right in the beginning, I want him to kill him just fucking, you know what? I go, I know Itchy and Scratchy did it. I go, but I want Reservoir Dogs. I go, tie him to a fucking chair, cut off his ear, do the dance, fucking pour gas on him, the whole thing. I want him, and he even goes, well, yeah, Itchy and Scratchy is kind of, I go, that's fine. I go, rip them off. I go, like they ripped you off. So finally take that idea and just fucking have him kill the mouse. And he goes, and literally he's like, kill the mouse as he's typing it in the phone. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to share this with the writer's room just because I think it's so hilarious. And I go, good. I go, if you want, I go, I'll type it out and send it to you. I'll send you an email, whatever you want me to do. But seriously, kill that fucking mouse because he has ruined Tom's life. And by proxy, he's ruined a lot of our lives, Dean. And he just goes, ruined my life. And I go, yeah, you're damn right he did. I go, fuck that. Kill that mouse. Kill him fast. Kill him early. Kill him so in a way where he never comes back. I don't want fucking Jerry's ghost fucking with Tom. I don't want Tom having to deal with Jerry. You know what? I want Tom to just kill him and then just like exhale and be like, ah. And then he just retires. Like he's fine. You know, Tom he's not a champion. He's just ridding himself of a gnat who's been buzzing in his ear for 70 fucking years. Just do me a favor, have him wipe him the fuck out and then sit down and then he gets to rest. It's like the Godfather in the fucking garden with an orange in his mouth. Just fucking finally let him go. You know what? I'm done. I'm done. He's like, you know what? He's Daniel Plainview at the end of fucking There Will Be Blood. Let fucking Jerry the Mouse come in and offer to borrow money, and then Tom stands up and goes, make him renounce Jesus, and he does, and then he eats a fucking well done steak off of the bone, and then he beats him to death with a bowling pin. Let him beat fucking Jerry with a bowling pin, and then have an old fucking waiter come down and go, oh, excuse me, sir, and he goes, finished. That's it. That's your final episode. Close with it. Leave it on YouTube or whatever the fuck, or even, it's not even the final episode. Make it the first episode, and then have the fucking mouse come back, and act like that never happened. Even better, fucking have Tom and Jerry just fucking have this thing where Tom mutilates him, and then he fucking just and then he just comes back in the second episode and just continues the chase. But give him one. Just give him fucking one.
Fuck you, Schmitty. You don't come to a throne if you're not gonna suck a dick.